Big day for the United States at the Olympics in Italy. Mixed double curling is already in the books. The United States takes home the silver medal. And with this, Corey Teesey is the first American woman to win a medal in Olympic curling. Currently going on right now over in women's hockey, the United States up 2-0 on Canada as that game heads into the second period. Big injury note, though, for Team Canada heading into today. Captain Marie-Philippe Poulin is out for this matchup. And your current medal count, it does see Norway and Italy in the lead with 11 each. United States and Japan are tied for second with 7 each. And the snow also may still be on the ground, but pitchers and catchers are starting to report in Major League Baseball. And with that, in some free agent news, pitcher Justin Verlander is heading back to Detroit on a 1-year deal. Verlander was with Detroit from 2005 until 2017. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
6-7. Okay. Ooh. I'm so cool.
It's Mike Schopp.
That's already over.
Oh, yeah?
I think so.
Well, then I'm going to really pick up on it.
And the Bulldog.
No! God! No! God, please, no! 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 No!
Why was 5 afraid of 6?
Because 687.
Because 7, 8,
Or
9.
789.
I trapped you.
It didn't even make
He
sense.
trapped me.
Hate puns, riddles,
Jokes and fun.
numbers,
And laughing and smiling.
the show, everything.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog on WGR Sports Radio 550.
Are you opposed to like a brain buster so early in the day?
After what we just listened to.
I wasn't listening to that. Was that me?
That was me
What did I do?
botching 789.
The joke?
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, me too. We just heard it.
You were just reminded of the
I was reminded of how
misfortune.
That's why I was chuckling as we turned the microphones on because I'm such a absolute moron. About certain things. I don't think across the board I'm moronic, but
Yeah, I don't want you to get too low here.
No, but
there's some things you know about.
I can't. Yeah, there are.
Having short hair.
I guess now. Yeah. There's things, but yeah, riddles.
I
puns,
have a question that you could probably have some fun with, or not that much fun, but just sort of answer in different ways. Is it warm out?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. It feels warm because
That makes it warm?
Yes.
If it feels warm, it's warm? It's 45.
I feel warm. I felt warm. I thought about not wearing a jacket. Are you wearing shorts?
No, I
Yeah,
am
okay.
not. I should be?
Yeah, I think the real feel. Now, I don't think.
Here we go.
I don't think Channel 2 or I don't know who I just know Pat Hammer comes on Sal's show, so I mentioned them. I don't know if like the weather professionals have developed a way to measure like real feel how you actually feel when you walk out the door. I mean, that's what real feel kind of is, right? You walk out the door and there's a wind chill and it says it's 20 degrees, but the wind is blowing and that makes it -10 with the wind chill.
But that has nothing to do with like how humans are
And that's I know that, but
processing the temperature.
But I'm saying like for me, real feel today felt
70.
like 60. Yeah, it felt like May.
But it's not going to be.
No.
The real feel
It really
is
isn't.
that trademarked? Is that like
I don't know.
Super Bowl? Can we say real feel?
Ooh, good question. Let's just push it and see if the lawyers call.
It's not going to be that high.
No, that's right. No, it's not.
It's a trick
Yeah.
because it's been cold. It's a trick.
Yeah.
45.
I don't know.
We'll take it.
I don't mind. I felt good. I did not feel compelled to remote start my vehicle.
Oh, wow. The height of luxury.
Before we had to, I'm like, there's nothing to defrost.
Should I even go to work? Why don't I just work from my attic and play guitar during the show? Why should I even go in?
Everything is melting.
Why start the truck if I don't even have to go in?
Right.
I could just, you know what you could do? You could start the truck and just not go anywhere. And just have it run the whole day. Like, I could just do that. I could just run.
It won't let me. It won't let you do.
It won't let you do that?
It'll do that twice, And then I don't know how long. I've never looked.
Mine is 10 minutes.
How long it'll wait? Like it runs somewhere between 10 and 12 minutes, I think. I've never really actually timed it, but in my head, I think, I check and like, oh, it stopped. And then I can do it again if I want. But after that, it won't remote start again.
Tricky.
So there's only
Terrible.
so much I can count on that for.
Do you remember talking last week or maybe 2 weeks ago when the props, like the early props for the Super Bowl came out about a streaker?
Yeah, and I said for sure there'll be a streaker.
And why?
Just the political climate we live in, someone's going to put a message on their back or have a banner or something, and they're going to want to make a point. One side or the other is going to want to make a point at the biggest sporting event of the year.
Okay.
And I don't know if this person that was out there. I saw some footage. It looked like there was something scrawled on the person's back, but I couldn't tell what it said. And I've not dug in to find out what, if anything, they were protesting.
Well, they weren't protesting so much as they had bet on there being a streaker, and they did it.
And they're advertising maybe a betting site?
The guy he's famous.
Okay.
TikTok maybe, he's sort of famous.
All right.
And he bet, what I read was he bet $50,000, which, you're probably famous if you have $50,000
to bet on anything.
So you're famous in some circles.
Even something you think you can control.
So you didn't say this time, but we've definitely had this conversation. Why can't you bet on awards in New York State? Because it's thought that you might have some control over it. But I'm not an awards bettor. I've had a Heisman vote in my life.
Yeah.
But the Heisman, that would count. I could, in this climate, bet on who wins the Heisman Trophy and, vote. And that's not fair.
That's right.
I don't want to vote against you if you have a vote, or, bet against you, I mean to say, if you have a vote. So that's not fair. That's why, it's frustrating because I love awards markets, and I would bet a lot on that, every season, different things, if I could. Instead, I have to go through Sam, which, I only want to do that so many times.
Right.
You can only play the Sam card so many times. But that's why you can't bet on awards, in theory, in New York State, because you can perhaps have some control over the outcome. And this hockey game I'm watching right now, I cannot have any control over. There's no chance I would have any control over it. So we've had this conversation before in different situations. This guy supposedly bet $50,000 on himself.
Yeah, I guess what it sounds
or
like.
Or on there being anybody.
Right.
And then he went and did it.
Right.
And he cashed for $374,000, and he paid a $1,000 fine.
This has got the Tage Thompson hat trick bet business model beat all to hell.
It's destroyed.
I'm an amateur. I'm like, I have a lemonade stand, and this guy has opened up a full service restaurant.
You might even
it's amazing.
You might even be able to justify buying a ticket for this ROI, return on investment. Like if it's a $50,000 bet, and how much is a ticket to get low enough where I could actually jump over the wall onto the field? 10, 20, whatever.
Right.
He's up 300. He's up $250,000. This is why we can't have nice things. This is why we cannot bet on who will win the Jack, Adams Trophy. Award.
Is there any? How respectable is it at all to consider? Not that I want to do any of these betting places any favors. Like they don't need our help. I don't think. Right?
You're so broken up.
They're probably doing okay, but
listen to this.
This feels like something that should be voided. Like you make the bet that a thing is going to happen, and you throw $50,000 at it so you can win. What did you say? 300 and something?
74.
Okay. And you are the one who makes the you commit the act. I don't know. That feels like whoever should be able to go, yeah, we're not honoring that.
What if I paid you the money and then I was the guy and then still did it?
Yeah, I guess.
And then you pay me.
Well, there's an explanation for why they can't turn it down.
The red flags come into play based on the amount.
For sure.
If it's $500, nobody even notices.
No.
500 to win $3,000 or 3,700.
Right.
Nobody even notices. 50 to why not make it $5 million to win $37 million? I mean, there are limits. These sites will only take so much of your money. But yeah, well, we did talk about this before the Super Bowl, and then it happened. And I've been waiting for this one where somebody like Coach of the Year. Is it not possible? This is not even that silly because like you've got a lot of this in basketball right now, kind of. But is it not possible that Mike Vrabel, just to name anybody, he won. That's why I'm thinking of Mike Vrabel, nothing more. That he could have bet on himself to win the Coach of the Year. And then he does. He doesn't know that he's going to win. That's not the same. Or maybe he does. Maybe by the morning of, who's going to be the first overall pick? Who's going to win the MVP? Somebody knows those answers. They're different from each other. But people know those answers before the announcement gets made.
I don't think he's allowed to wager on that. I don't think people who work for teams can bet on things that are team, well, whatever. And I heard Brownie and Tasker one day before they left our airways. As I was driving in.
How are those guys?
Say, I don't know. I miss them. It's only been a couple days. We'll see. I'll adjust. But I heard them say we are not allowed to bet one day on their show, like in the run up to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And like if the guys that work on the team broadcast aren't, like, you can bet the head coach is not. He could do it, through back channels or something, but I don't think you could do that if you wanted to.
If Mike Vrabel had a friend, say Bulldog Vrabel, who could place the bet for him, then where are we?
Right.
All of this is all just pretty stupid. And where it always leads me to is like it's all just corrupt. Not that games are fixed or even awards voting is fixed, but just like I don't want to participate in anything like that. Like I would not want to have my money, not that I ever would have in this case, on no streaker and then have the guy who does it benefit from having bet on it happening.
Right.
Like that would be gross.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't have felt. Yeah, I wouldn't have felt good about that. I guess in the end, obviously losing a bet like that.
The important thing is
it feels rigged. That's why I said the thing about does the betting house have any leg to stand on to say no, and I think they don't. But it still feels wrong. It just feels wrong.
And what do we say about that? If you think it might be wrong, it's wrong.
Yeah. Maybe not
if
even
it feels wrong, it's wrong. You don't even have to question yourself.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
they probably won't have that up anymore.
Oh.
Right? I mean, because
it won't pay as well.
Some genius is going to think like, and I say genius pejoratively here. I mean, heady, smart job by this guy to figure that out, that he could do this and get away with it. But someone will want to try that now all the time. So I'll bet that's the end of those bets. I never brought it up.
It's definitely not.
I never, you don't think so?
No.
I did not have at FanDuel as much player stuff as I thought there usually is. I feel like that's already starting to get reeled in.
Well, there was a story last week that New York might do that.
That's what I'm thinking of. I didn't think it had been enacted yet, but like we talked with Sam on Friday, and I floated this idea. I like Seattle minus 13.5, and he was okay. Well, then do all this other stuff, and one of them was Ramondre Stevenson carries. Mm-hmm. I could not find any on only FanDuel. I didn't shop around because FanDuel is all I've ever used. But I never found, and the amount of selections just seemed limited to me as I was looking, unless I was being sloppy navigating.
No,
the page.
I don't know.
But it just seemed like they did not put as much stuff out there as they have in years past.
Well, that might be intentional.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know whether Bet Rivers would take advantage of the situation and put tons of stuff up there because you're not using somebody else, not as famous.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't think any of this will ever get to a point where we'll be happy. Because if they take it all away, it'll feel like the Dark Ages. Mm-hmm. It'll feel just like, that's not fair. Why did this have to happen? Only because a dozen NBA players got busted. A guy jumped on the field at the Super Bowl. The important thing, by the way, about that is they didn't show it, so no one will know.
Right.
No one will ever see his name, picture, any footage of a guy at a game where 70,000 people have their phones out constantly,
Or even
running around on the field.
And therefore, no one will ever talk about it on the radio.
It'll never come up again.
No.
It's like a total non-event. Thank goodness NBC, in this case, was so dutiful to not show that happening. That wouldn't have been fun at all. Okay. Well, I've got the...
Oh boy, there's a sheet. There's
reverse
a
AFC power
There's a
rankings.
sheet of paper out here.
We
what
really
that is.
should do one to cap the season.
Yeah, that's right.
And we haven't done this in a month.
Right. Once the playoffs got rolling, we just stopped. Right?
What was the point?
Yeah.
Right? What would be the point?
Yeah. I guess. Yeah.
Well, shall we? Is there time here? Did we talk too long about streakers?
I think I can manage to plow through it.
Okay. I want to try, but I do think it's one where there's a little bit more thought,
more discussion than the average week.
We'll see. Let's see how far we get. All right. Reverse AFC Power Rankings on WGR are brought to you by Empire Electric, your local residential electricians. 16. Come on.
I'm going Jets.
Okay. Jets.
The like somewhat delayed firing of staff, and then like Frank Reich. Like, okay, good luck, Jets. I don't know what you're going to do at quarterback.
No,
there isn't. I mean, maybe they'll pick the Alabama guy, but he's not even in the like a first round grade, like first round rating. The few things I've looked at already.
Simpson
is like he's prospect 34 in a top 100 I looked at today.
That's the second round.
Yeah.
15.
I'm gonna say Cleveland. Todd Monken.
He's coming in hot.
Yeah.
Tennessee.
See, I like Dayball in Tennessee.
As an assistant.
Yeah, I know, but to work with
Saleh
Ward.
as a head coach, though, works with that, too.
So I'm bullish on. I wanted to like elevate them or whatever we're doing here. I don't. It's been a while.
Yeah, the opposite. All right.
I'll go Cleveland as well.
14.
I'm okay with Tennessee now.
That's good. 13. Vegas. Or is that?
I think because of Mendoza, like I want to give them a little, but I don't know who else to put down there. If
Up
it's
there.
not that, or up there, excuse me. Sorry, first day on the job.
Miami. Who would you rather be?
Oh, I think I would rather be the Raiders by a mile right now.
Yeah, so I'll put Miami here.
That's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine.
That works.
12. Pittsburgh is kind of fun. Division champion. We love.
Let's do it.
Ragging on Pittsburgh in the reverse AFC power rankings. All right. 11.
They don't have the Mike Tomlin superpower bulletproof shield anymore. Maybe they'll finish under 500 with Mike McCarthy.
Vegas or Indianapolis at 11?
I want to go Indy here. They were super fun for a little while. I like that they made the big trade, but now it's Daniel Jones and no first-round picks for 2 years.
Sauce Gardner, right.
Off a torn Achilles.
Off a torn Achilles.
All right, Indianapolis.
Like, I don't want to give Vegas too much of a Fernando Mendoza, Kubiak bump, but...
Yeah, maybe it has to end here. What number are we at?
11.
All right, the Vegas.
Indianapolis has already been written. 2-1.
Oh no! I meant next. I thought yeah.
10 Vegas.
Yeah,
fine.
I was on to the next. All right, you were worried about time. I was moving it along.
Raise a banner. The Las Vegas Raiders 10th in the reverse AFC power rankings by virtue of what? Knowing well enough to lose games at the end and change your entire coaching staff.
Having the only first-round
Brilliant.
quarterback available to you, and they got this year's Ben Johnson as their head coach. Like Clint,
I guess so.
Clint Kubiak is coming with that kind of hype, and so that should work for them.
9. Good start. Good pace.
9.
Good one.
I'm going to say Chargers.
Oh, that's too high.
I like the coaching staff hires, but I don't like them more than any of the teams left right now. I really don't.
I want to go Cincinnati here.
I agree. Cincinnati. 8.
I'm on the Chargers.
Houston.
Yeah, Houston. I don't know if they have a quarterback. Defense is fun, though.
Defense is wicked. And pretty much in place, right? Like they're not losing. The edge guys are. Well, Hunter was a free agent, so he's not young, but he's under contract. The other guy is going into year 3. So yeah, they're in great shape.
Bulldog. It's been a long time since I've played this card on you, but 3 words: WE. Whatever. 7. LA. You can have it. LA.
Sure.
6.
I was gonna just keep standing there.
Ravens. The co-favorite to win the AFC is Baltimore. Sorry. Baltimore at 6. Who's their coach now? Oh, Minter. Someone named Minter.
Jesse Minter is their coach. Okay. Anthony Weaver's their defense coordinator. He keeps talking about violence at news conferences.
WE.
I don't know. I think I'm more bullish on the Ravens than I am the Chiefs.
Okay.
You got an injury there, and I don't know. Is he going to be ready on time?
That's the thing. I mean, even if Mahomes is, say, ready by week 2 or 3, that's always the big thing about torn ACL is you might be able to play in a year. It doesn't mean you're going to be good for a year.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what Mahomes is going to be, and that roster is very
I like
suspect.
the Chiefs in this spot instead of Baltimore myself.
I'm fine with Chiefs here.
Oh, wow. Just how soon they forget. You can literally ski in the Olympics a week after an ACL injury. You're telling me Patrick Mahomes isn't going to be ready for week 1? Look how that went.
I'm not telling you he won't be ready. What I'm suggesting
is going to crash.
Is that he'll
be helicoptered off the field in the first game.
That could happen. By the way, no
Sorry.
one will ever be as cool as that dude that is riding on that rig that she gets.
I never saw it.
He's just. I mean, he's attached. He's wired to the. It's a stretcher on a cable hanging down from a helicopter in the Alps, and. She's just lying there, and he's just riding on that thing.
I've never done that.
Like that dude is that dude's hot. Is who that dude is.
Wow,
scorching hot.
5. Ravens.
I'll go Baltimore. Yeah.
4. New England.
I so badly want them to be ahead of Buffalo.
This is your chance.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
New England.
Sure.
3. Ooh, okay. Denver.
Yes.
Oh, this is going to be good.
We are.
This is going to be good.
So
we made it on time.
Yeah.
Assuming this ends in the next 2 minutes.
Right.
2.
It's either Jacksonville or the Bills. The way this is shaking out.
That's right.
Here.
I'll go Buffalo.
I mean, come on. I'm saying Jacksonville.
At 2.
Yeah.
Tail of the tape.
We beat them.
I know.
In the playoffs.
You have that.
Not like in October.
You have that in your favor.
Denver did beat the Bills.
Games are overrated.
This is more just like, of course we would pick the Bills, right?
Right.
I have to do it. Objectively, I have to agree. Jacksonville 2. Buffalo 1. Oh, no. Oh, no. Right? I mean, the Super Bowl ends. The Bills don't make it again.
We got a coaching change and lots of roster stuff to manage, and they're one.
New England at 4 and Buffalo at 1.
Sure.
Oh, these guys have to be the worst. Can you imagine listening to them?
Oh, terrible. Such homers.
Well, I mean, what do the odds say? There it is. Reverse AFC Power Rankings powered by Empire Electric, your local residential electricians. Thanks for listening. We have Ross Tucker today. That'll be at 5. Last appearance for Ross on our show for a while. Once or twice during the offseason, but this is the end of our official run with Ross. And before that, Jeff Bell from footballguys.com So they do this tremendous, thorough, visually appealing rookie draft guide. Who's ready? Jeff is ready. And he's going to be on with us today and a couple more times between now and the draft, which is in late April. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog at 803-0550. Want to get in on the Super Bowl, perhaps even the Olympics, the Bills in the offseason as we sort of get it rolling. Sounds great. We're here for it. We'll be right back. This is WGR.
Murphy. Murphy gets to it. Centering pass. Score! Bulldog! 2-0 United States.
Kenny Albert never misses. Abby Murphy makes the play. So my wife and I are arguing about this play. This is
really?
only from an hour ago, but she loves this team, and she loves Abby Murphy, and she really loves Hillary Knight, and loves how, like, our daughter's 14, has been playing hockey for like 5 years. Hillary Knight, who's still playing well for Team USA, girls growing up met her over the many years, and like there are all these pictures of girls who were on the team now that met Hillary Knight when she was on the team herself. But we're having a disagreement about this second goal. Nothing about the clip is really going to help anybody understand it. But I said, if I'm Abby Murphy on that play, I make the exact play she did. So she's behind the net toward the corner and has the puck, and there are two Canadians. And what she does is backhand it into the slot, and her teammate is alone and just roofs it. I said, that's what I would have done. And my wife's like, well, you never would have gotten to that puck. I mean, she's so fast. And like, I know, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I would have won the race to the puck.
But if I'm standing there with the puck, that's where I would have put it.
It would have been the play I would have made, because I don't want to get hit, really. And so I'm just going to dump it, backhand, right it, that much I can do. Right into the slot, bang.
You might not even realize that your teammate is there all alone. You're just
I don't even care.
You're just going to throw it to the front of the net and hope something good happens.
Doesn't Rob always tell us that's what you should do in hockey? Just put pucks to the net. Like, what else is there?
Right.
So that's what I would do. I would just sort of dump it right to the front, and, boom, goal. Easy game. And she's like, well, you wouldn't have gotten to it. Like, I know that.
Yeah, you can't skate that well.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks. I know that already. So it's 3-0 Team USA over Canada. I want to be right about this one. I don't have any bets, because if I did, I would feel like I'd probably lose. But what they looked like in the run-up to the tournament is the much better team.
I was mistaken. You've brought that up a couple of different times, and I was under the impression that Canada – now they're missing their captain, legendary player Poulin, for them today. But – I thought they didn't have their full complement in those games, and I did some looking because it came up, and I wanted to at least be, as correct as you can be. And I found lots of preview stuff from the Canadian coach. It's 4-0, saying basically like we're having a hard time keeping up with this team. They're younger and faster, and we have a pretty experienced team, but we're not. He didn't exactly say we don't have it, but what I read left me at, he knows they don't have it. they either they didn't have enough women to replace some players who maybe should have aged out, which I find hard to believe, or they just made choices. They relied on experience instead of youthful exuberance and skill and talent and speed, and they're paying for it.
I don't know the answer. I mean, I'm sure there are theories. And I'd also be a little bit 4-0 midway through the second, USA over Canada and the women. I'd also be a little bit unnerved by beating them again by so much, if that's how this game ends. Because what are the odds it's a rematch for the gold? Probably really good.
Really good.
Is Canada down so bad that they're going to lose to, like, Sweden or somebody? I don't know the women's field that well.
I mean, they have been the two since it started, and that's not surprising. I was under the impression coming into this that Finland was closest.
Oh yeah,
but
USA just smoked
US
Finland.
Smoked them. Yeah, I think it would be kind of surprising if they didn't end up in the gold medal game. These two countries again. So
we'll see.
You'll see. Yeah, we'll see if what you're saying is don't beat them too bad and get too comfortable, but. I mean,
USA, I went to the game in Buffalo between these teams. I think USA beat them 6-1. There is like a big attitude with this team too. Like this last goal, Bilka is the name of the woman who scores the goal for 4-0. And she's it's a one-timer, and she's getting knocked down while she gets the shot off. And she scores, and she gets up. She just cross-checks the Canadian in the back, like right, and she's down on the ice. Like, take that. So there is a big attitude with this team, but they're great to watch.
Yep.
Did you know, speaking of Olympic hockey, did you know that all the overtime in the Olympic tournament is 3-on-3?
Yes. I read that a couple of weeks ago and just did a refresher on it, to the point where I'm pretty sure I can give you the whole rundown. These games, that start tomorrow, right? The round robin games are 3-on-3 for 5 minutes, and then shootout. Five aside. So it's not like the NHL. It's 5 aside shootout.
But it's 3-on-3 overtime.
3-on-3 overtime, but only, I believe it's 5 minutes. The next,
I think you're right.
The medal round games, they go same thing, 10-minute 3-on-3, and then shootout. Gold medal game, 3-on-3 shootout, 20-minute period to start, and then if they need an intermission, I think they take a break, and then they will come back and continue playing 3-on-3.
Exactly. There's no shootout in the gold medal game.
Right.
Ever.
But there is in the other medal round games.
Olympics or NHL, what was so wrong about 4-on-4? Did we really ever need to get to 3-on-3? Do you think? How do you think about that?
I hated it from the word go.
3-on-3.
Yeah.
What was so wrong about 4-on-4? Like, it was just too close to 5-on-5?
I guess.
I remember wanting and talking to Rick Jenneret once. This had to be a long time ago on the air, because when the game was at a point where all we ever did was complain about it.
Mm-hmm.
The goalies are too good. There's no room anymore. They never call interference. You know, what is that? Just Hasek or post-Hasek, like 20 years ago, or before the canceled season. Everybody was always complaining about the style of play in the NHL. And Rick said to us, probably in a conversation on the air, I got an idea. How about 4-on-4 all the time? And that agreed with me. Like, okay, that's a huge fundamental change to the sport. But, they eventually when did that start? I mean, overtime started in the 90s. When did they go to 4-on-4? Was that out of the lockout? Whenever they did that, it was just better, I think. But then we needed 3-on-3, and 3-on-3 is weird. I mean, it's just sort of, you're passing it backwards all the time. You're passing it to your goalie.
It is, there are pockets of it, and you'll get one occasionally. The Sabres have probably had games this year where it is wild and frenetic and up and down the ice. But if that happens for like a minute of game action, I feel like that's a lot, because most of it is, just controlling, regrouping, line change, trying to take somebody off the dribble, find a matchup that's good for you, right? Somebody misses assignment, blows a tire, whatever. You're just waiting for a mistake, or an opening caused by a mistake. Same thing, and it's really boring, really tedious. I just don't. I never liked the idea of you're playing a hockey game for 60 minutes with 12 people on the ice. Right, counting the goalies, player-wise, and then you're going to play overtime with you're cutting that by a third. What are we doing here? You're taking 4 people off the ice. I just think that's terrible.
I don't ever really think about it when it's the NHL, because it's 82 games and make it work.
Right.
It's not a problem for me that if half the teams are going to make the playoffs, this is why one reason why I can't stand all the reviews. Who cares? You've got 6 months to figure out if you're in the top half of the league. Just get there. No excuses. I don't hear about a bad call or offsides or 3-on. Just you got literally like half the year to be in the top half, and if you get there, you're in the playoffs. You probably don't even deserve it unless you're one of the very top teams. But we can't have sports like that anymore. We've got to have everybody in it because it's money. So whatever, like if you miss by 1 point because you had a bad call or something, I don't care. I really just don't have any sympathy for you. So 3-on-3, 4-on-4, whatever, shootouts, fine. Just You got to end these games.
Yeah, I've never stopped hating all of it, but it doesn't drive me crazy anymore because, I just sort of, I know it's not, I don't think it's ever, I shouldn't say ever, it could change, but I don't sense that there's a movement to do it.
No, it doesn't matter to me.
So
but
I'm
playoffs,
not upset about it. I still think it sucks, though.
But playoffs, play the game for real.
Right.
And the Olympics, play the game for real.
Yeah.
And if you have to cut that short because it's just the preliminary round or something, all right. But 3-on-3 for the gold medal will be terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. If it comes to that, I think it's a mistake.
Well,
and I don't know.
I'm here to say it will come to that.
If they just have agreed to that. Like, I'm trying to remember when, we've had all these years here where they haven't been. The NHL hasn't been to the Olympics. But I don't remember what the format is. Is it the same, or did they put 3-on-3 in because that's what guys play in the NHL, and they wanted to have that? And did the Players Association push for it or something? I have no idea. But I mean, as recently as 2010, right? I'm pretty sure Crosby's goal is a 4-on-4 goal.
It's not 3-on-3.
It's overtime, but it's 4-on-4. I think is what it was in 2010.
The pros played in 14. We had the thing yesterday or the other day where Miller was on the team in 14.
It was 12. It's been 12 years. Yeah, I think that's
12
right.
years. That was in Sochi. That's TJ Oshie. 14.
Right.
The shootout against
went 4 for 6.
4 for 6 in a shootout.
Because that is still true. By the way, if these any of these prelim games or even the medal the medal round games aside from the gold medal game get to a shootout, all 5 shooters go, and then if it continues, you can just keep using the same guy.
Oh, baby.
You can do whatever you want.
I was at a game where Willie Randolph went 4 for 6. I'll never forget it. There's your primer on Olympic hockey right there. You're welcome. Jeff Bell will talk NFL draft. Let's go. That'll be at 4. Ross Tucker at 5 today. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, WGR. Bell from Football Guys coming up in 15 minutes. We're going to talk rookies. I love that this happened. Was it this time yesterday? I think it was, where we started to riff on Sam Darnold and Kenneth Walker being at Disney. And if I'm one of them and I wanted to stay for like a month, would they let me? And could I get, like, is it carte blanche? What is it? And we started to mention, like, they're on different rides.
The character breakfast came up, and I wanted Darnold eating a big pile of like waffles with whipped cream and chocolate chips like a 9-year-old would.
Yeah.
For some reason, that just struck me as funny.
I want them to have to kick me out of here.
You want me to go to Disneyland? I'm going to Disneyland.
Or
Disney World, whatever.
This can't apply because these guys are like 25 years old or 30 years old, but it's really expensive to go to Disney with your family. Like, it's really expensive. And that's before you buy anything when you're in there. And if I had some way of getting to be allowed to be, I can stay a month, I might just take it. Like, what a deal. Now, they're not going to want to do that. But did you see the update?
They're probably not going to want to comp you stuff for a month either.
But what if I'm Sam Darnold? And I can be all over your complex, your campus, and I'm taking pictures with other people.
Oh, okay.
And like, how great is that?
There's some benefit.
I'm an influencer.
Yeah.
I'm Sam Darnold. Yeah. I'm Kenneth Walker.
Anyway, I did not see an update. I blew past your question.
They were in the teacups together.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
How great is that?
Yes, I saw them riding in the teacups.
And Darnold has this face where he looks like he's very rarely amused by anything.
The whole thing looks like, it almost looks like a bit.
It does.
That he go on the ride and look mad. I don't know if he looks mad, but he doesn't look like he's having fun. That's for sure.
Right. It's Letterman and Biff Henderson riding in the teacups.
Right.
And Letterman has the big toothy smile, and Biff, they're just, is this really fun for them, or why is this happening? So yeah, they're on the teacups, and I said on Twitter to somebody who showed that to me, like, just get me to the character breakfast, and like Goofy is over there singing to them or something like that. Then we have lived. I mean, Walker is the actual MVP, not Darnold. So, but he gets to go too because he's the quarterback?
I don't know. I can't remember the last time we talked about it yesterday. It was a running back. It's been defensive backs, but Terrell Davis won it 28 years ago. And I don't know if Elway went with him to Disney World. I don't remember.
Elway was too big a star.
So I can't remember there being a non-QB winner of the award and what that looked like at the amusement park.
Okay.
Whether the quarterback goes just because he's the quarterback or if that was, I don't know. I don't know if it was a special circumstance or what.
I think if James Cook wins the Super Bowl MVP, Allen doesn't go with him. Allen goes somewhere else. He goes to a private island or something.
Because he's Josh Allen.
Right. Sam Darnold is going to get on the plane with Walker and take the ride.
Right.
I mean, I would too, if offered.
Yeah, I wonder how that all shook out.
Allen's too big to be somebody's +1
sidecar
at Disney.
Yeah, right.
And they're Disneyland, by the way, I was told, not Disney
they
World.
were in California, not Florida.
Which I wonder how different that is. I don't know. I've never been to Disneyland.
Me either.
Probably never going to get there. I have a question for Ross later.
Okay, good.
I think he'll like it.
Will it fill the whole 20 minutes?
Maybe.
I'll just take the segment off.
So my son had 2 friends over for the game Sunday. Teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
And I had my friends over. They were mostly downstairs, and we were upstairs. And somehow, just randomly, they were talking about poker. Like, somehow the subject of poker came up. I'm like, great. 2 of my 3 friends are professionals.
Okay.
So if you guys want to play poker,
yeah,
we can do that.
Yeah.
But, I'm mostly kidding. Like,
yeah.
But, so that was kind of in the air. And they came upstairs at one point, and I don't know, like they found them or I just had them in my hand just picking up upstairs. But I have this just randomly, I've never even used them for anything, but I have these 3 20-sided dice.
Whoa.
That were like 2 of them were in my hand. I'm just moving stuff around, picking up upstairs, and I'm holding 2 like Dungeons and Dragons dice or
Okay.
Stratomatic, 2 20-sided dice. And the boys come upstairs and they're like, all right, let's I don't even know how it started. Let's play. Somebody says, let's play. So I just go, odd or even? And the kids are like, odd. So I roll the 2 dice and it's even. Might have been the other way around. Doesn't matter. I win for $20. So they each give me $20.
Come on.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, it's still, the game hasn't even started yet.
Yeah.
Everybody's just gotten there. But the kids whip out $20 and hand it to me.
You're into the kids for $40 already.
Yeah.
The party hasn't
I'm
even
up
barely
$40.
begun. Yeah.
Kenneth Walker hasn't even had his first carry yet, which I
Right.
lost on.
Yeah.
But I'm up 40. Like, this is fine. We'll play something else later, and, you can win it back.
This doesn't end with their parents calling and saying, why did my son come home $20 later? Does it?
Well, I don't answer my phone.
Good move.
But there was no other action.
That was it?
That was it.
You cleaned them out.
And then later, I'm like, oh, I guess should I have given them back their money? I don't know. What would Ross say? What's your prediction? Will Ross say I was in the wrong for not giving them their money back? I wasn't thinking about it. One kid left before I was even aware of it. But still, is that an excuse? Should I have given them the money?
I predict I would have been tempted, because I'm soft as all get out, to give them the money back. I predict Ross will say they needed to learn a lesson.
Bet's a bet.
Right.
We'll find out later. I love when I can ask you a question, we can predict Ross's answer, and then ask Ross. Next, Jeff Bell on NFL rookies or rookies to be from footballguys.com. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.
Big day for the United States at the Olympics. Mixed double curlings is already in the books. The United States, they take home silver. And with that, Corey Tisi is the first American woman to win a medal in Olympic curling. And currently going on right now over in women's hockey, the United States all over Team Canada 4-0 as we head into the third period. And your current medal count does see Norway in the lead with 12, Italy in second with 11, and Japan is in third place. They have 8 medals. The United States 7 is good for fourth. Norway also leads the way with gold medals at 6. And we got some baseball news today, as even though the snow is still on the ground, pitchers and catchers began reporting earlier today. We also got some free agent news as well. Pitcher Justin Verlander is heading back to Detroit on a 1-year deal. Verlander was with Detroit from 2005 until 2017. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
How many bees is a swarm? Is 2 a swarm or 3, whatever? How many does it have to be? And
I feel like 7.
It's Mike Schopp.
how many times do you have to be stung to have been swarmed? And I was like, dude, I got swarmed. I got stung only once, but I was swarmed.
And the Bulldog.
You insist you were swarmed.
There were bees, man, like plural, big, lots of S's. Lots of E's and S's. Bees. that was not
Bees.
fun. Right. That was not fun.
On WGR.
Hey, man, that kind of hurt.
Sports Radio 550.
Friends and spouses
Mm-hmm.
on my phone about whether I should have given the kids the money back. This is a good one.
Yeah. No.
When do you learn a bet's a bet? If I lose that bet on one dice roll, there is 100%, no questions asked, nothing even gets said. There's no story giving them that money.
Of course, you're an adult. You have a job. You have income. These are teenagers.
Their income is their parents. They do okay.
That's why
These kids are not hurting.
That's why I asked. I think the important question of does this end with them calling, their parents calling, saying, why did Billy come home $20 later?
You know, their parents aren't even going to know.
That's probably right.
Well,
That's no like. What are we talking about here? 16 years old, 16,
Yeah.
right?
At least.
I think either one of my kids would have really felt $20 when they were 16 years old. Like, you know, it's not a lot of money, but for a 16-year-old, that's a drive-through trip with your girlfriend.
I'm not disputing that.
Yep.
Make it 5 next time.
Whose idea was the 20?
I think it might have been mine. With us, I don't know. I forget. With us now on the West Shore Hotline is Jeff Bell. Stop talking. Footballguys.com. The always excellent rookie draft guide is out. It's free. Footballguys.com. It's not only maybe the best, I can't even say maybe, right? Jeff's listening. Fantasy football website there is, but it's where I got into it. That's the Sigmund, right, Bulldog? It's Sigmund Bloom and connecting with him and then starting to really, it became an obsession for me. I worked things out with Jeff earlier today. He's going to join us a few times here before the draft starting today. Jeff is on the phone. When we connected earlier, he said, I won't have access to my studio mic at 4. So, Jeff, first question, who is using your mic?
My mic is in a different location. So I'm in my office here at work, and that is at my home location. So I'm using what I've got on hand.
Okay, we're making it work.
Right now, I'm a CPA, so we're making it work.
Oh, wow. I remember that now. We got to be careful with Jeff when we get to mid-April.
That's true, yeah.
There might be some
big ramp up.
There might be some times when you're otherwise, occupied. Well, thank you for arranging this with us. The draft guide is out, footballguys.com. What, in general, from way outside, what kind of year is this? Either by position, I know we're talking here about a fantasy site and the skill positions primarily. How does this year compare? How does it rate?
I think the talk that you're going to hear is that it's a weaker class. We obviously saw Fernando Mendoza win the national championship, win the Heisman Trophy, going first overall. So that at least gives us one quarterback Jeremiah Love is the talk of everything. He'll be right there for Mendoza. I think when it comes into talking about a weaker class, sometimes we get these years, like you flash back to 2021 when there was the Jamar Chase and the Kyle Pitts and multiple quarterbacks going at the top of the draft, and you felt like in your Superflex Dynasty leagues where you felt really good having anywhere the first 6 picks or so. I think this year definitely feel a drop-off at the second pick, and so that's where it probably comes in, talking about a weaker draft. I do think that there's depth throughout. You're looking at the first 15 or so players in a draft. I think there's, for us Bills fans in Buffalo, I think there's some wide receivers that'll be pretty interesting in this draft. And there's some running backs that play the fantasy purposes that kind of next tier behind Love. There's some guys there as well.
I've peeped a few different rankings so far. That stuff is starting to leak out now that the Super Bowl is over, Jeff. And I'm very much only seeing Mendoza as a first-round quarterback prospect, at least when you're talking about rankings, right? We're not into – I haven't dived in yet to any mock drafts because those are different exercises. Do you anticipate, I think Simpson from Alabama is the second quarterback I see usually out of the first round, at least ranking-wise. Do you anticipate him or another quarterback or two getting into the first round as we get through the combine in the interviews? And we know that position always sort of gets elevated anyways, of course. It's quarterback. How do you think that'll shake out?
I think Simpson's the most interesting one to watch. He coaches kid, checks a lot of boxes in terms of size, athleticism, coming out of Alabama, so blue chip background there a little bit. But, yeah, it seems to be kind of all over the board of where he's going to fall, if he's going to be late first or if he's going to fall into day 2 of the draft. Right now we're still watching Trinidad Chambliss from Ole Miss. He's trying to petition to be able to play more in college, which kind of tells me that maybe he didn't get the best information from the NFL in terms of going pro. But at the same time, we know it's a different landscape with NIL, and he's probably got $6 million sitting there from Ole Miss if he is able to return. I think seeing maybe a guy like Garrett Nussmeier or Carson Beck potentially might get into the conversation, but not in round 1, I wouldn't think.
Jeff, your Mendoza comp is Matt Ryan. How do you decide on that? I know you guys are a staff. Just wonder how the comps get decided upon and how firm is that?
Yeah, so I can speak to – so I handle the wide receivers. I did 57 wide receivers, and so there's 3 of us handling this guide primarily on that side, myself, Dave Kluge at Football Guys, and then Mike Kashuba. And we gave – Mike is newer to the project, helped out last year, and he did the quarterbacks and the tight ends. And so he did that Matt Ryan comp. We really – dig down as kind of positional experts, and I can speak to how I comp for wide receivers is I'm just really ideally looking at play style, ideally looking at college for the comps that I do for wide receivers and how a guy looks in college, less so maybe how his NFL career turned out.
Okay. So, yeah, that's interesting. And that's not going to be intuitive maybe to everybody who reads this, because when I see George Pickens for Carnell Tate, I'm thinking of the guy I just watched blast off for Dallas more than the guy from college.
What he was coming out, yeah, right.
Yeah, he was more of a controversial prospect. I guess more off the field than that, but that's interesting. We love comps, don't we? I mean, as a community, comps are the best. And I don't know, like you're the one authoring the draft guide. I mean, they're fun. Are they pretty? Do you have an opinion about their merits comparisons? Like they're definitely fun to think about, but they can also maybe sometimes mislead.
Yeah, I think that's fair because just like you said, the interpretation on what it actually means and what you're going for, and the way that I view it is kind of play style, kind of in your mind's eye. To hear George Pickens, you can kind of envision the type of player that he is, what he's bringing, and wide receivers in particular. We know that there's like 3 or 4 different positions as actually a wide receiver. So kind of trying to invoke immediately just from a name and get that play style, kind of paint the picture of what type of player you might be looking at here.
You mentioned, Jeff, that you were in charge of the receiver position, and that's I don't know how much
Bills
you know. Yeah, okay. So you know, like what you're aware of the wide receiver train and all the stuff here, Jeff. So let's get out of the way first. The guys the Bills won't have any shot at unless they try, trade up dramatically into the top 15 or something. But what kind of class are we talking about here?
I think I would be very surprised outside of a very aggressive move if Mekhi Lemon, Carnell Tate, or Jordan Tyson are still on the board when the Bills are going to come up. Probably the guys that we're going to be looking at in the first round would be Casey Concepcion from Texas A&M, came from NC State, and then Denzel Boston from Washington. Kind of two very different receivers. Boston, I mean, the Keon Coleman comp isn't fair to Boston. I think Boston's a better player, but like that bigger receiver that you would know the Bills took a chance on the last couple of years ago. And then Concepcion is more my comp for Concepcion, and this will paint with Bills fans, Stephon Diggs, is where I went with him as a player that can really make an impact in the short intermediate areas, kind of have a lot of volume potentially in some of the schemes that we've seen in Buffalo.
You mentioned you think Boston's a better player and it's unfair to compare him to Coleman just because of his size. What, in your mind, differentiates him from a player like Coleman?
I think with Boston, you're looking at a player who's a little bit more experienced than Keon Coleman was coming out. Maybe a little bit different maturity level, but coming out of that Washington program, first couple of years in Washington, he sat behind Rome Odunze and Jalen McMillan and Jalen Polk, those guys that went to that national championship, and he's been an impact player the last couple of seasons. I do think there are probably some stylistic comparisons between Boston and Keon Coleman, especially that high end of Keon Coleman, where we've seen him function as a returner. Boston's another one of those players, a bigger wide receiver that's been a punt returner, and ability to play outside. I think there's more refined game that we're looking at with Boston than probably what we've seen develop in Buffalo with Keon Coleman so far.
Right. So refined game would lead one to think like this is a player that can get separation one-on-one, whereas Coleman is pretty much just locked up.
Yep.
Jeff, you're a Bills fan and also a prospect, a scout here, basically. Do you think there's hope for Coleman?
I do think there's hope for Coleman. It seems to be more off the field than on the field that potentially is bleeding into it. But it really kind of comes down to just the professionalism and we know. I mean, you guys I caught the conversation about the bet with kids. We know the 16-year-old kid.
You were not supposed to bring that up.
But there's maturity levels that come into it. And I think we probably all can reflect at some point in our life when we actually got it, or maybe we haven't gotten it yet. But just that difference, that leap that you make. And to me, it doesn't seem like Coleman's quite made that leap in terms of what it takes to become a professional. So if he were to do that, I mean, we know, I think the physical gifts are definitely there to deliver on his potential, but I mean, that we're talking about ifs, and sometimes when the guy gets some money and kind of things have worked out for them so far, for the most part, that leap doesn't necessarily happen in the way that it should.
Is a life lesson not worth $20 American, Bulldog? I mean, really? With Jeff Bell from Football Guys. Jeff, day 2 receivers. I mean, not everybody can get who they want in round 1. This is really where maybe the Bills deserve the most criticism. Not ignoring that Coleman technically is a day 2 pick, the first pick of the second day.
Yeah.
But, their successes have been on day 3, and they're relatively modest. What kind of draft is this for wide receivers like 5 through 15?
Yeah, I think just to put it in context, when I did that, like you're talking about wide receivers, I would say wide receiver 6 is kind of where you start talking about that. And then through that range, it really is difficult to kind of rank and separate, because I think there are a lot of talented guys between that wide receiver 6, wide receiver 16 to 18 type range that we will see dot the day 2. I definitely think that if the Bills don't go in round 1 with a receiver, and if it's not Concepcion or Boston, I really don't want them to go round 1 receiver. I do think there will be opportunities on day 2 to get an impact player for the rotation.
With Jeff Bell, so running backs, I know that wasn't your position when you guys built this at Football Guys, but I've got season premiere, if I may, of ADP Chasing Tonight, Davis Maddock, Pat Kerrane, Jacob Sanderson, and me. And Davis was tweeting about Jadarian Price, or he might have been on his whatever it is, his Substack or whatever that is, but how he was the number 2 running back at Notre Dame behind Jeremiah Love, the consensus one, top running back in the draft here. But, still he comes in third in your draft guide, Jadarian Price. That's an interesting one. And his comp, by the way, is CJ Spiller, who was one of my favorite Bills. So what is the running back landscape? How about having two guys from one school in the top three?
Yeah, we've seen this. So we saw that last year with Ohio State, with having Travion Henderson and Quinton Judkins there. I think this year we got another one outside of Notre Dame with Katron Allen and Nicholas Singleton there in that conversation. So it maybe is trending a little bit in college, as these guys are, obviously we know the NIL landscape, but an eye towards the pros. Having a guy that you can split the backfield with isn't necessarily a bad thing there. I think Price, you're really looking for explosion, and he falls into a tier. Obviously, we know Jeremiah Love, but when you're looking at, like I said, Katron Allen, Jadarian Price, Mike Washington Jr. from Arkansas, Singleton from Penn State, who had the foot injury at the Senior Bowl. You're having Jonah Coleman, Emmett Johnson. I think all of those guys, I said, 6 guys there that could be any of them could be the running back 2 out of this class. And so from a fantasy angle, that's what we like to hear. We like to hear, 5, 6, 7 guys that we think could step in and have a big impact in the backfield.
How much, if at all, do you think how Ashton Genty's rookie year went will impact teams this year drafting running backs? I mean, I've seen Jeremiah Love in the top 10 for sure. Just, dart throwing at this point. It's still so early in the process. Do you think Genty and the Raiders having it be as turbulence too strong, but it didn't smash, that's for sure.
It was bad.
Okay, that's another way to put it. It was bad. Does that make a team maybe want to slow down? Great, we're going to draft this talented running back, but we got to have some stuff in order in front of him or at quarterback or something, because we're just going to be wasting. And we know running back shelf life is not long, so wasting a year of the best running back in the draft is maybe not that smart.
Yeah, I think when you look at Genty, I think he did well in the passing game, and that was one big question that he had coming in, and he kind of profiled maybe a little bit different than what we expected, where I think a lot of, especially in fantasy, but the draft landscape, we're thinking, here's another Saquon Barkley, and it was a lot more like what we're seeing at Devin Achane or a player like that, where he can make an impact in the passing game, and that is a box that Love checks, and I think that that's a box you have to check to be even in the conversation to go round 1 as a running back position. But I think Love could be an impact player in the passing game. So I don't know that teams are going to necessarily pause on taking Love because of Genty. And I do think that as you're seeing people come out with their top 50s, those types of things, we're seeing unanimously Love being listed as a top 5 position or any position player in the draft. And so he's got to be in that conversation. I don't know that the Genty didn't quite get there for us for fantasy. I think for real football terms, he probably, I don't think teams were necessarily discouraged by what he put out on the field last year relative to the situation.
I was about to follow up. Maybe bad was too strong. It was a bad draft pick in fantasy, Genty. Picking him at 111.
In fantasy at that redraft ADP especially really hurt you.
It bombed. Again, Bills fan, Jeff, are you surprised by James Cook's success?
Actually, I loved James Cook in his draft. That was he was one of my favorite backs in that draft. And I think we're seeing the NFL kind of change and allow an explosive player like that, because the concern about him was the size. You're seeing a different archetype being able to have a big impact. And it's interesting, too, because he was the passing back in Georgia, and we definitely do not utilize him enough in Buffalo in that role. I mean, way too often ends up being Ty Johnson, in my opinion, relative to the skill set that Cook has. I think the volume overall is a little bit surprising, but in terms of being the explosive back that we're seeing for Cook, that's been a revelation.
So you think that's there? You think that's in him? I've wondered. I mean, he seems like he's had the reputation for being somebody who could help in the passing game. And early in his career, he had some pretty famous drops. But you think, and I also will say this, Jeff, I think, when I think of running backs on teams that catch the ball a lot, Christian McCaffrey notwithstanding, I feel like it's a sign of weakness on a team. Where here I've got an MVP quarterback, I want to get it down the field. Maybe I don't have the guys for it, but I don't want him. I don't want Rich Gannon, I don't want Nix or somebody that's throwing the ball to the running back in the flat all the time. There's got to be a happy medium there, though.
I absolutely agree, and I think I shudder to mention the New England Patriots here, but I think it's interesting that with Trayvon Henderson last year, the talk was that he was going to be the next James White, but then that didn't materialize. And looking at it, well, yeah, you have Tom Brady at quarterback, and you've got James White, so Brady is going to make the read, and Brady's not going to scramble. And you've got Drake May at quarterback; he's going to hold on to the ball, scramble, and those dump offs aren't going to be as part of the game. And that's what we see a lot with Cook, where it's schemed up down the field, that wheel route that he always ends up dropping, that it feels like. But I do think that overall, when it comes to Cook especially, getting in some level of rhythm in the passing game, I think it can be really difficult if you're getting the ball, getting the handoffs, and then here's a play out of the blue sending you downfield to catch the ball, as opposed to kind of establishing that in the game, and you're kind of starting to play and move with the flow of the game a little bit more.
Jeff, while we get the lay of the land from you today, how about tight end real quick? Has it not been true that the feeling that rookie tight ends they need time, and it's rare? We had Kincaid, and it was, what we talked about that offseason was how rare it is for a tight end as a rookie to really give you stats, at least. But that's been blown up a little bit. Laporta and then Bowers and what McBride has been, not as a rookie exactly.
Even Kincaid caught 74 balls as a rookie.
Right. Are we in a different place at that position?
I think we are, because teams have figured out how to use like a Jonnu Smith. It felt like forever especially in fantasy, we're like, hey, this guy's very intriguing. This guy's a plus athlete, but they could never figure it out because he's not a traditional inline blocker. And so what we've seen in Buffalo, we've seen across the league, is kind of more of that blending of the two tight end sets, having a tight end that's a little bit more dedicated, or having six offensive linemen on the field that can kind of be that inline guy, and then treating that tight end more like a slot receiver. We've really seen a lot of the 3 wide receiver, slot receiver sets disappearing out of the NFL from where it was a couple of years ago, where it was every single team was running 3 wide receivers. I think that this is kind of the answer of something that we've been frustrated with the 2 high safeties and killing kind of the deep passing game. Is you put those 2 tight ends out there, you have one kind of serves as your slot receiver, and now all of a sudden you can run James Cook downhill into lighter defenses because you've got heavier fronts.
And should point out too that we had 3 tight ends this year as rookies who did really well. Tyler Warren, Harold Fannin, and especially in the playoffs with Colston Loveland. So those Warren and Loveland were first-round picks, not in that order, and they both had fine rookie campaigns. Very good, Jeff. Well, your, chirp about my situation at my Super Bowl party notwithstanding, I've really enjoyed this conversation, and I'm ready for the next one.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll look forward to doing it again, Jeff. Thank you.
Absolutely.
You're welcome. Jeff Bell, footballguys.com. The rookie draft guide is out at their website. It's downloadable, it's free, and it's excellent. 803-0550 for us, Mike Schopp and the Bulldog. We'll be right back. This is WGR.
Busy day at the Olympics. We'll start with curling as mixed doubles wrapped up earlier this afternoon. And the United States, they take home the silver medal. And with this, Corey Teesey is the first American woman to win a medal in Olympic curling. Currently going on right now over in women's hockey. The United States all over Team Canada. It is 5-0 here late in the third, though this game is just part of the preliminary round. And then figure skater Ilya Malin, nicknamed Quad God, is going to be taking part in the short program a little after 5:15 tonight. 29 skaters in all are taking part. The top 20 are going to advance to the free skate on the 13th, at which that point the medals will be handed out that day. And speaking of medals, your current count sees Norway in the lead with 12, Italy in second with 11, and Japan in third with 8. The United States just behind them in fourth at 7. Norway also has the lead with gold medals at 6. And the snow may be on the ground, but pitchers and catchers are reporting in Major League Baseball starting today. We also got some free agent news as well. Pitcher Justin Verlander heading back to Detroit on a 1-year deal. Verlander was with Detroit from 2005 to 2017. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
I think there are a lot of talented guys between that wide receiver 6, wide receiver 16 to 18 range that we will see day 2. I definitely think that if the Bills don't go in round 1 with a receiver, and if it's not Concepcion or Boston, I really don't want them to go round 1 receiver. I do think there will be opportunities on day 2 to get an impact player for the rotation.
Our guest, Jeff Bell from footballguys.com. If you missed it, check it out on the Odyssey app. Justin Verlander, is that of any interest to you? His going back to Detroit?
When I first saw that story, I thought maybe they were signing him to one of those one-day retirement contracts.
Okay.
I'm not trying to be jerky. I really thought I had to make sure, like, he's going to play? Okay. I mean, he's been around a long time. So, cool. I mean, I don't care about the Tigers, but if I were a Tigers fan, I think it's always cool when a guy that's a certain walk into the Hall of Fame player comes back and is going to finish his career with you. That's cool.
Who's the best Buffalo example of that? Jim Leonard came back. He's back again. He's never gone. Talinder came back. That was Jason Pominville.
Pominville came back. Andrew Chuck came back.
Yes, that's a good one.
Schoenfeld came back.
Yes, and coached.
Yeah, but he came back as a player, too.
Yeah, he wore number 13?
Yep, 2 stints as a Sabre defenseman.
That might be Pominville was like good when he came back.
Yeah, he was still
good.
Yeah, he was still a useful player. Yeah. I don't know. It's not something in football-wise, I don't know. We've got, Jordan Phillips and Shaq Lawson. Those are pretty current. Poyer is one. Sure.
Trey White.
Yeah, Trey White.
Maybe this is not so good of a thing when your defense is made up of guys that left your team 3 years ago.
Maybe not. But Trey White ended up being pretty decent.
Yeah, he helped
by the end.
Even Poyer maybe helped. I would say.
Yeah,
they needed him.
They missed him. They missed both. I mean, both guys were missed time in that game, and it hurt. It stung. Poyer missed the whole game, but anyway.
I think of Justin Verlander very fondly, even though I'm not a Tigers fan at all either. But I have a friend that's friends with him, and I like that sort of connection. He'll be 43 in 2 weeks, Verlander. But it's more that one baseball trip I took with my wife and her brother, and it started in Detroit. And there's just something about a baseball trip that makes it on a higher tier than maybe going to other sporting events. And we went Detroit, Chicago, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh in 4 days. And the first game was a Wednesday afternoon in Detroit in 2006. And it was really hot. And I went through the teams to see if, are there tickets I can buy? Am I of any use to you? I mean, maybe I'm not. But Detroit was one where I bought seats on the dugout, like we were the first row. So you put your beer on the dugout.
All right. I'm a fan of that.
Yeah. And that's how the trip started. Third base line, so third base dugout. And I don't know anything. They're playing Houston, and I know Andy Pettit was pitching for Houston, which I thought was kind of cool. But I think maybe Houston was bad. And I knew nothing about the Tigers. I had been there for that Roger Clemens game where they were like the worst team in history.
They ran out of hot dogs.
They ran out of hot dogs an hour and a half before the game started.
Right, because they weren't ready for
50,000 people.
Yankee fans to pile in there hoping to see Clemens set some strikeout record.
50,000 people. They were drawing 9 before this one game. Roger Clemens going for 300 wins.
Oh, that's what it was. One was a strikeout thing. Okay.
No.
Yep.
On a Sunday, even.
Right.
So, 06. I'm there, my wife, her brother, on the dugout. We're already baking. It's like coming up on 2:05.
And you
pitch.
you don't know anything about Justin Verlander.
Never heard of him. And that day starting pitcher is walking down the left field line from the bullpen where he warmed up. And it's Justin Verlander. I'm like, oh, whatever.
Who's this guy?
I wish I could have gotten somebody good.
Right.
Like, I don't know who he is. Does anybody at this point? It was like June or July of 06. I mean, that's just he pitched in 05 barely, but 06 is his rookie year. If it were the next year, I would have had him in Stratomatic or something and known who he was. But in this case, we're a year behind in that.
Have you looked yet ever to see like what sort of start he was off to? Was he pitching like was there a vibe that you were seeing Paul Skeens and you just didn't know about it? You know what I mean? Like, was there buzz?
It's a good question.
I don't remember early in his career. I don't like when he became Justin Verlander.
This was June 28th, 2006, and he entered the game with a record of 9-4. So pretty good.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
I should have known who he
was. For a rookie pitcher, that's a nice year.
Yes, and I remember after the game in which he went 8 and he was throwing high 90s like it was nothing, and it was a sight to see. And Detroit won in a shutout. He threw a shutout. Didn't pitch the ninth. But we got back to the hotel, and I was on the phone with Sully. Like, Jerry.
You got to see this guy.
You got to know what I just was at.
Yeah.
And he's like, you don't know who he is? Like, well, now I do.
Right.
And he's like, did you know who Granderson was? And I didn't. But Curtis Granderson was their starting center fielder and leadoff hitter, and I didn't know who he was. And like, oh, buddy, you got to shape up.
Not up on the Tigers.
No. Who's up on the Tigers?
Right.
I knew who Pudge was. He was their catcher then, catching Verlander. So basically, I've always been fond of him because of that. The next day we went to Wrigley, and it was Mark Pryor against the Brewers. The Friday night game was Cleveland Reds. And Cleveland got way ahead in the first inning, but Adam Dunn hit a walk-off grand slam for 9-8. So they're down 3. They're down 8-5 in the ninth. And Dunn for Cincinnati hits a walk-off grand slam. You don't get that a lot.
No.
And then Saturday we saw Detroit-Pittsburgh, like a 5 o'clock game. We were so tired that we just left halfway through it. Drove home.
Just out of gas.
Yeah, we didn't get the 4th hotel room.
Yeah.
Let's just try to make it. And it was tough. At that point,
even with 3 of you, yeah, right. Make the drive.
The longest drive ever from Pittsburgh,
right?
Was that night? So yeah.
Now, when baseball, I mean, you probably know both of my stories that like this. Youkilis's first home run is a game in Toronto that I was at. Same thing. Didn't know, like I was following the Red Sox pretty aggressively then, but still no idea who this prospect is, and. He's making the start, and he hits a home run. And, like, that's, he didn't have a Hall of Fame career, but he had a nice career, mattered on those World Series teams, the first ones anyway. And it was pretty cool. Like, I'm at the game where he hit his first home run of his career and had a good career. And then Duran, more recently, when Toronto was playing here, I saw the Red Sox play them, and he hit a grand slam in the first inning for his first career home run.
Yes.
And those are...
I was at that game, too.
I will remember, those are guys I will walk around with. Like I saw the first time they made a mark, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, see what kind of career Duran has. I mean, drives me crazy in the outfield.
The I was there thing it's a meaningful thing as a sports fan over the years.
Yeah, I mean, these games are meaningless regular season games, 101-62. But for the guys, they're going to remember their first career home run, and I was there for those too. Like, I'm like, it's not as good as Verlander, a pitcher you're seeing, for 9 innings or 8 innings throw, 110 pitches or something. Like, it's more of a thing, I think, than my thing, but still.
No, it's great.
Got what you got, So, Yeah, I like that. I always think about that now because it's happened twice. I go to a game and there's a guy I don't know, like I'm paying attention. Like maybe this guy's going to do something and I'll remember it 10 years from now because he's going to be, an all-star or something.
Yeah. Detroit went to 54-25 with this win, so this is on me.
They were good.
54-25.
Right.
What was I doing? 2006. Where was I? Verlander, 8 innings, 3 hits, no runs, no walks, 7 Ks. Easy game. Just was awesome. Yeah, that's a great point. And that's really a lot of what the Bison's experience can be is, is there a prospect? I always want there to be like a name prospect, not quite a household name necessarily, but somebody that like baseball fans, serious ones are going to know who he is, and or the guy down from the majors.
Right, rehab.
That's, he's going to be in Buffalo for a week, and you can sort of look at him, and that's always cool, too.
Team USA closed this game out, and by closed out, I mean won 5-0 shutout over Canada.
Yeah. I texted Joe Ostrowski, wasn't it, with Joe the other day?
Easy game.
With Joe, we were talking about, I tried to preface it by saying, I don't really know. But yeah, I think USA kind of dominated them in the run-up, and here's this game today, 5-0. I don't know. It could have been worse.
I did not look before the game. I should have, just out of curiosity to see what they were to win gold. But I'll bet it now. Whatever it is now is probably
too late.
Way better.
First ever.
Worse. I mean,
they're saying now on the broadcast, first ever time Canada shut out in an Olympic game, the women. And that's believable.
Yeah, because really everybody else gets steamrolled by both the U.S. and Canada.
By the way, the curling ended the mixed doubles curling ended today. Sweden beat the U.S. in the gold medal game 6-5. It was great. It was really, really close, as the score would indicate. And earlier in that tournament, Sweden, which won gold, was shut out. And that just never happens.
Yeah.
If you and I went and played against Dropkin, we'd get shut out.
Sure.
But they lost to Norway 9-0.
Wow.
In the mixed curling, and then ended up winning the gold. So I like them. Disappointing to see U.S. lose right at the end like that. Really great effort, great tournament. So now it's on to, just like with hockey, it's on to the, here come the men and the women. Well, hockey, the women have already started. The men are coming up. Is it tomorrow? USA's Thursday?
Yeah, Sweden plays tomorrow. So Darlene will play tomorrow, and then USA plays tomorrow, same time, like 3:10 or
Thursday.
Thursday, yeah, during our show, both games.
What is that looking like handicap-wise, the men's? Is Canada the favorite?
Canada, good question. I've not looked. I'd be stunned if they're not.
They should be?
They should be. And we'll see what USA, Thompson wasn't at Four Nations, so they rectified that. I mean, they didn't have enough offense, and they did, but they still are bringing along Trocheck and JT Miller and leaving guys like Jason Robertson and Caulfield on the sidelines, which I think is a mistake.
And Samuelson, obviously, should be there.
We'll see how that goes. The biggest question Canada's got is what they're going to do in goal. Binnington was so good in Four Nations last year, but was having a terrible year. And, the U.S. has got, to me, 3 guys, 2 of whom are better choices than anybody Canada's got. If it's not Binnington, it's probably going to be Logan Thompson is going to be Canada's goalie. And the U.S., I will probably defer to Hellebuck, but I would play Ottinger, but that's just me. And they've got Swayman, too. I mean, they have an advantage in goal. Whether it will end up mattering, I think, remains to be seen, obviously. So Canada's favored to win gold. If you're looking, tell me if I'm wrong. I'd be stunned if they're not. But I'll bet U.S. is close.
You're right. Canada is plus 130. USA is plus 190. Sweden is plus 480. Finland is plus 1,000. No Russia.
No Russia.
We can't allow that. Can't have Russia.
Finland not having Barkov is just very tough. I mean, they'll still play that game, the game they played at the Four Nations, which is just It's going to be a sort of plotting on the walls, like tough game. But not having him is pretty tough for them.
Ross Tucker coming up at 5. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. This is WGR. This is one where I feel the need to say, which I probably shouldn't worry about, that we had this conversation off the air about short track speed skating.
Mm-hmm.
This one young woman for the U.S. in multiple races today crashed. And they were talking about her like she's this like star, maybe even like the top-ranked skater.
Mm-hmm.
But she crashed in the women's something, 5,000 maybe. And then she crashed in the relay. And, I don't know, maybe another one. And, I mean, I don't know. Maybe she choked. Just what happened there. Nobody else crashed. But I know you share this opinion. Not everything has to be a sport.
Yeah, no.
And the 4-person short track speed skating relay is diabolical.
It's just too much. Too much. I don't like the event, period. From the Apollo Anton Ono, however many years ago that was, I just, the whole thing just felt too much like, let's invent something we can win. I don't know. It's not like U.S. dominates it either. I don't even know that they, forget I said that, okay? It's just too gimmicky. I don't like it. There are crashes. Like, it's not uncommon.
No,
so it's tough that this woman maybe was, a favorite and crashed like that. But it's part of the, appeal of it, I guess, is that there's bumping and whatever. The relay, I turned it on. I was waiting for the curling to start. I knew the curling was starting at noon, and I was just surfing around the Peacock app. And it seemed like the only thing that had not a dead screen saying your event has concluded or your event will resume shortly was that. As I put it on, and it was this relay thing, this tiny little track. There's 4 skaters going around and like 12 more people on the inner ring doing little.
They're getting their speed up.
Yeah, it's too noisy. I cannot. I'm a speed skating purist. I love the big track speed skating. I love just seeing how fast these people are going, 30 miles an hour, whatever it is. The endurance, I admire it a lot.
You're a Winter Olympics purist.
I'm a freak for it. The short track, just get it out of here.
You'd rather watch a 3-hour-long cross-country ski race.
Yes.
Than the short track race.
Easily.
2 kinds of people.
Easily.
I'm the same, I think.
Right. The hockey game ended. The U.S. women beat Canada 5-0. That's over, and I think we've got USA Network on in here, and they pivoted to a 20-kilometer men's biathlon.
That's with the guns.
And I'm 100% here for this. The late Al Troutwig made me into a cross-country / biathlon fan. He did such a great job on the play-by-play. I cannot remember the name of the man I feel like he was paired with for multiple Olympics.
Oh.
They just did such a good job of it, and I would watch it uninterrupted. Yeah, I don't know if they would run it for, I think they do with all these different channels. They'll just put it on and let it go.
That's all you have to do.
And
just let it go.
I grew to really like it. I think when I was a kid, it was, give me the bobsled or the ski jumping or the regular skiing. The cross country was kind of boring. Now I really like it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I would watch that. I would watch people I don't even know that aren't competing in the Olympics participate in this event before I would watch the best in the world short track speed skating. I just don't care.
Not everything has to be a sport.
It's not interesting to me at all.
Ross Tucker is interesting. He'll be on with us next. Our last chat with Ross for a while. Stay tuned to Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.
Day for the United States at the Olympics, and it got underway early as the United States takes home silver in mixed doubles curling, and with that, Corey Teesey is the first American woman to win a medal in Olympic curling. Just wrapping up a few minutes ago, about 20 or so minutes ago, U.S. women hockey, they finished up the preliminary round perfect following today's 5-0 win over Team Canada, and with that, this is the first time Canada has been shut out at the Olympics. And U.S. figure skater Ilya Malin, nicknamed Quad God, finishes his short program at number 1 out of 29 skaters. The top 20 do advance to the free skate on Friday, which is where the medals will be handed out. And speaking of the medals, your current count sees Norway in the lead with 12, Italy in second with 11, Japan holds that third spot with 8, while the United States just behind them in fourth with 7. Norway also has the lead with gold medals at 6. And then even though the snow is on the ground, we got some baseball news today. Pitchers and catchers did begin to report around Major League Baseball today, and we also got some free agent news as well. Pitcher Justin Verlander heading back to Detroit on a 1-year deal. Verlander was with Detroit from 2005 until 2017. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
Welcome back. One final time to wrap up the NFL season. Joining us, the host of the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. Guess who? That's right, Ross Tucker at Ross Tucker NFL and myfrontpagestory.com. Still time. Valentine's Day is not for 4 more days. Ross, is that enough? Is that enough turnaround time?
Yeah, I kind of debated this. The answer is yes. Everybody listening should absolutely go to myfrontpagestory.com. But I'm starting to wonder if this is actually the better way to do it. Because if you go to myfrontpagestory.com right now and get this professionally written custom newspaper story for your significant other, you can print out the order receipt, put it in an envelope, give it to her on Saturday. Give it to her for Valentine's Day, okay? So she opens it. What is this? That's gift number 1. You say, honey, I'm having a story written about you. How about gift number 2? The anticipation, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Like, can you imagine your wife? You tell her you're having a story written about her. She's going to be dying for that thing to get there so she can read what you said, what the kids said, who else you got quotes from, what the writer wrote. And then when she actually gets it and reads it, she will cry, you will win. I think this might actually be better. It's like 3 gifts for the price of 1. myfrontpagestory.com.
That is a strained argument, if I may say so. Like, if you well,
Here,
what you're not doing...
I didn't do this on time to have the gift ready for you today, so...
Right. It's not that you forgot. You didn't forget. Like you're saying, give her the envelope, Ross is saying. So it's not like you forgot, but it's not there. We have a problem in my house where the presents are always late. Yes.
If you do it like today or tomorrow, it's very clear that you did it multiple days in advance. So it's not like, oh, I didn't remember.
Yeah, all right.
It's like, hey, I chose this gift that's more thoughtful than the gift card to Olive Garden, or more thoughtful than just buying you flowers on my way home from work.
You're doing good work here. Yes.
Well, somebody could say they heard about it today.
Right.
From Ross.
I had the same argument, Mike, with my wife about whether or not we should find out the sex of our baby. My argument was, let's do a reveal party and, because then to me it's like you have 2 great days. You have the day where you find out what you're having, and then you have the actual birth. Whereas if you don't find out ahead of time, you only have the actual birth.
That's fine. No,
she didn't go for it. We didn't find out either time.
Right.
I have a dinner coming up in a couple of weeks where I have looked at the menu, And so maybe I'll just sort of, I'm having this dinner multiple times or something. It is, I do like the anticipation point. I mean, there's certainly something to be said for that.
Well, and you can also, Russ, if you are going to do any more of this before Saturday, you can work in have the guy tell the spouse, this gift is so popular, they're back ordered.
Oh.
And so, right?
So lie.
Sure. Yeah, whatever. It's Valentine's Day. Of course you should lie.
Okay, well.
So listen, I'll say this too. I think the older I get, the more in life appreciation I have for the anticipation, like that part of it.
Yes.
So like this weekend, I'm going skiing for the first time this year. You guys know I love skiing and having some Labatt Blue Light while I'm skiing. And I am so excited. I am fired up. And the moment's going to be awesome. This weekend's going to be awesome. But, like, texting back and forth, and I can't wait. It's going to be amazing. That's like a key part of the event in life now. I feel.
Definitely. Disney trips, planning out every minute of it. I mean, that's another example of this. Okay, well, Ross, you did the Super Bowl. We have Seattle, much the better team in the game. How was your experience? I doubt nobody seems like really to have been that surprised that the Patriots were just not up to this.
Yeah, no, not really. I mean, I thought if they played 10 times, the Seahawks would win 7 or 8. I thought that Drake May would have to really be special with his legs probably, and that Darnold would have to turn it over a couple times. It's probably about right. I mean, I don't know. If the turnovers were even, I think it would have been closer, but Seahawks pretty clearly, I thought, the better team. It was very cool to get a chance to call a Super Bowl.
Yep.
Very cool, by the way, to get people hit me up on social media at Ross Tucker NFL that they were listening over in the UK on radio. Like, that was so cool. And the play-by-play guy, having that thick British accent, it's just cool. It's just cool to hear someone with that accent calling, NFL action, football action, which is awesome. The game was, I never know. Is it a defensive struggle or an offensive struggle?
Both, maybe.
Yeah.
But both defenses were impressive. I think that's one of the very interesting things is, like, we now have 3 Super Bowls in a row where it feels like the team was kind of led by their defense. Certainly the Seahawks. Last year, obviously, the big topic in Philly was Saquon, but the defense was the better part of the team.
Yep.
Down the stretch. The year before, people forget this, but that Chiefs team was not lighting it up offensively. That Chiefs team was led by their defense. And, Darnold's not an elite quarterback. Hurts played well in the last 2 games last year, but he didn't play like an elite quarterback for the year. It's just interesting, and I don't know that it means it's a trend or it's the way you have to do it to win it or whatever, but it is interesting that the 3 most recent Super Bowl winners felt like they were led more by their defense than by an elite quarterback, although obviously Mahomes is that.
Yeah, that definitely left a mark on me thinking back, and I didn't even think back to Kansas City. Just the last 2 I was thinking about, but I think that tracks. And yeah, I mean, maybe it's the swing of the pendulum, maybe getting all the way to the other side, or maybe it's not even all the way there yet, where, the defense has, that's what you need. You need to be elite on that side of the ball if you're going to go win a championship, because we've seen big-time quarterbacks, not so much Drake May, but these other games are examples of guys getting kind of throttled by especially defensive lines.
Yeah, I mean, back-to-back years where the losing quarterback couldn't do anything. He was just getting overwhelmed by the opposing D-line, which, by the way, I mean, people know that. Brandon Beane went out and got Joey Bosa and Ogunjobi and my boy Michael Hoyt. Like, they know that you want to have a bunch of good D linemen and be able to come at them in waves.
with Ross Tucker, Mike Schopp, and the Bulldog here.
Ross, that's not even to mention the draft picks. I mean, Hairston was a corner, but then it's Sanders and Landon Jackson, the defensive end, who ended up on IR, and then another defensive tackle and Deion Walker. Like the 3 of their 4 picks were defensive line to start the draft last year.
And Walker really played well.
Yeah, he did.
Walker really seemed like that was a good pick.
Yeah.
Well, Ross, I mean, I guess I want to just get this in. Last year, the Bills, we know the Chiefs' offense struggled because it drove us crazy how the Bills in the AFC Championship couldn't get stops with the year that they'd had. This year is almost worse with Denver. I mean, Knicks gets hurt, but how good was Denver anyway? And then New England's performance in the Super Bowl. It's yet another year where I think there is a Bills fan case that it should have been the Bills.
Yeah, it's funny. I just went on a national show, and they said, which fan base watching the Super Bowl should have felt the worst?
Yeah.
And they gave me the Vikings, the Broncos, the Rams, and the Bills. Vikings because Darnold was there last year, obviously. I don't really think the Broncos. To me, it came down to the Rams or the Bills. And the Rams part of it is because, they were so close to beating Seattle twice. And if they did, it's pretty clear they probably would have won the Super Bowl, that they were the second best team. But I still went with the Bills because the Rams at least won a Super Bowl 4 years ago.
Right.
So as much of a bummer as, how the season finish was for them, they still have been there recently. For the Bills to watch that Super Bowl, to watch New England in it, and know that, if the Bills played the Patriots 7 times starting tomorrow, I guarantee you I'm taking the Bills to win that series in a best-of-7 series. So that's the part that really becomes tough to stomach. I think you can live with when it's Kansas City or a good team and we can't get over the hump. When it's a team in the Super Bowl that you have to watch that's in your division that you're very, very possibly better than, that's very difficult.
How much do you think this will stick with May? I mean, we saw Mahomes have a terrible Super Bowl last year, and nobody was predicting that his career was going to derail. But he was already established as Mahomes. May is first time on the big stage here, first time in the playoffs. I've said I don't think any team has ever done less in 3 games to get to the Super Bowl than New England did offensively. I mean, they had almost no resistance at all to get to the game. They won, credit to them. But May, was it the shoulder, you think, or was there some flaw in there? And how about the left tackle too? Vrabel today is very defiant about Will Campbell. We're not, switching him to guard or tight end or anything. He's going to be our left tackle. He'll work at it, but he had a pretty tough game.
Right. So let's start with this. The Patriots had the easiest schedule of any team since the 99 Rams or something crazy. And then number 2, they get to the playoffs. They just played 4 of the top 5 defenses in succession. So that's part of it. I mean, that's part of it to go against those type of good defenses. And then you said it, the O-line in general, but Will Campbell in particular, really, really struggled. And then in the last game and a half at least, Drake May had the shoulder injury. So I don't think that excuses him from some of the turnovers, the fumble issues. Mm-hmm. But remember, go back to that Texans game. He had 3 really nice touchdown passes that they had to have to win that game. So I think we forget that a little bit. I mean, I don't know that there's that much of a difference between the Texans and the Seahawks, to be honest with you. I mean, the difference is the Texans, C.J. Stroud had a million crazy turnovers and Sam Darnold didn't have any.
To the point about the Rams, which it's interesting you got that question, which fan base should be the most sort of bitter. The Rams, though, and I think you'd agree, the Rams really have no claim to it. They played Seattle 3 times. They lost twice. They were close games, and they could have been tipped, but you lost. Whereas the Bills, there's also that Patriots schedule is just such a tough thing to live with. And they did their part, winning 14 games and even beating the Bills along the way. If you changed one result of the Bills season, give them the game in week 5, then like you're there. If everything else is the same and you play at home and get, I don't know if you get a bye, but you know the point. So the Bills you never really have a claim to it because that's just sports. But at least like the Rams couldn't beat the Seahawks when they needed to. And the Bills cost themselves a chance to beat New England.
Yeah, and honestly, like, it's so weird because, like, I think if Jacksonville played the Patriots 7 times, I think Jacksonville would win a series too.
Same.
And the Bills beat the Jags in Jacksonville. So it's I think what we're saying is there was not a lot of separation between these teams.
Right.
You know, maybe more with Seattle than anybody else, but other than that, you know, like, I'm quite sure the Bears. They think they were a player away from the NFC Championship game. I'm sure the Niners think if they had Bosa and Fred Warner. Obviously, the Eagles think, you know, with the new OC that they'll bounce back. I mean, it's a zero-sum game. There can only be one, and there can only be even 2 that get there. But it does feel stunning that neither Lamar Jackson and the Ravens nor Josh Allen and the Ravens and the Bills, have been able to get there.
Yeah. What did you think, if anything, of Vrabel in the game, Ross? There were some fourth downs. There's not using timeouts at the end of the half seemed kind of odd, and not even going for 2 when they finally got their touchdown to make it an 11-point game. I mean, I know they were in tough no matter what, but still, another touchdown and a 2 and a field goal, and you're even. And instead, there was really no benefit to making it a 12-point margin, but he kicked. I don't know. Did you find any of his decision-making in this game to be suspect?
I was a little bit surprised, especially about not going for 2. I will say this. I think his game management coordinator, they call him Stretch. I believe his name is John Stryker. If you've been following the Patriots, and really even going back when Vrabel was with the Titans, that Stretch guy, Stryker, is elite. You know, I think Vrabel has been elite when it comes to coaching, clock management, game management, which is why I didn't see any quotes. I'm guessing he was asked about those decisions, but I'd be curious to hear what he said. I mean, very clearly, he was super conservative because I think he thought their best chance to win the game was like 12-9, you know?
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense late in the game to not go for 2. I didn't really understand that one.
So, Ross, to the Bills offseason, new coach, of course. Joe Brady moves up. Sean McDermott goes out. What is the top priority? I mean, of course, it's all a ways off, but we talk about wide receivers here all the time. We went through that song and dance last year. Is it that? Is there something else you think is the most important thing for them to do?
Well, the offensive line's been pretty good. So I'd figure out what's going on with David Edwards and McGovern for sure. I do think wide receivers a priority, and then D-line. You know, I just AJ's up, Bosa's up. There's no such thing as we have too many good D-linemen. It's not a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those are the areas where I would continue to fortify the ranks. Feel pretty good about corner. Feel pretty good about a decent amount of spots, but O-line, make sure that group stays together. You got to get a real number 1 receiver, I think, if that's even possible. Maybe call Philly for A.J. Brown, see what you can get done there, and then certainly go hit the D-line hard. Although maybe they feel that good about Hoyt coming back, T.J. Sanders. I mean, they've already invested a lot in that group.
Right, but they still have not found like Bosa. I thought Bosa got off to a really nice start this season. Like I was liking him early, and I don't know if he played through stuff. He had a wrist injury at one point, and maybe something else. But boy, he was a ghost, Ross. And Lucky for him, Taron Johnson got flagged for a pass interference on that same series, the series that ended the game ultimately in their season. But I don't know if you remember this, but Johnson gets flagged for pass interference before Trey White. And if that hadn't been called, it was pretty ticky-tacky. Bosa took what had to be one of the worst personal fouls on a quarterback you'll ever see. I mean, it would have been a hell of an exclamation point on his second half of the season if they ended up declining that penalty because the interference penalty was 2 more yards, I think. But it was just brain lock stupid. So they're gonna need something. I mean, they really haven't yet gotten a guy that's impactful.
That would have been like the Reek Woolen taunting penalty for the Seahawks.
Yes.
In the NFC Championship game. It would have been like that. I mean, it would have been that bad that people would have still been talking about it for a while.
Ross, thank you for all your time this year. We don't have time for me to ask you about whether I was out of line betting with my son's friends. I'm sorry. But for a later date, perhaps.
Darn.
Going skiing out west?
I am, yeah. Trip number 1 of a couple. So looking forward to it. Hopefully I've done enough core work and leg work that I can still get these 255 pounds down the mountain safely, but looking forward to it.
Watch some of these cross-country guys we're watching now at the Olympics for inspiration. These seem they're exhausted. They're so tired when this race is over that they're just all collapsing on the snow. Hopefully it doesn't come to that for you.
No, you're going to be coasting down a hill, right?
I don't know if the other people at the resort will appreciate it, but maybe I should bring my like a rifle and just like ski halfway down the mountain and then try to shoot a bunny rabbit or something. You know, what's that sport called?
Biathlon.
That cracks me up.
It's biathlon. We're watching it right now. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that always cracks me up. Like, wow.
Good luck if you try that. Thank you, Ross. We'll talk down the road.
Hey, love talking with you guys every year. Love being on it in Buffalo and Western New York. Huge fan of the people there and your station. I appreciate all the positive feedback I get. And maybe next year. We'll be rooting for next year.
All right, man.
We'll try it again.
Have a good back half of the winter, and we'll check in sometime in the spring around the draft, maybe, if you're up for it.
Sounds great.
All right. Thanks, Ross. Listen, if I roll those same 2 dice and I lose, and the kids leave with $40 of mine, right?
Yeah.
And you're talking about, like, there's a conversation with mom and dad when they get home, how I won $20 from them, and you might think that their parents might have questions for me.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say they have a conversation with mom and dad, and they tell mom and dad that they won my money. Isn't it maybe just as likely or more likely that the parents go, yeah, we're going to give him that money back? They had you over. They fed you.
Yeah.
You got to sleep over, play games.
Yeah, there's a decent chance that you'd get a phone call either way. What are you doing gambling with my 16-year-old kid?
Gambling.
You know, so there's
that.
Have
to be gambling?
I think. I
guess it does.
It was gambling.
Guess it does.
The shame on the kid, though. If you're going to, hey, my friend's dad, I took him in a roll of dice and I got 20.
Dice game.
You keep that $20 for Taco Bell or whatever you're doing there.
Right. You don't have ever. None of this comes up at home.
You don't got to tell anybody.
No. That's right. This is just if it did come up.
But yeah,
somehow.
But this way, there's always a chance that the hand is out Monday morning. Like, I need money for, like, what happened to the $20 I gave you on Saturday?
Yeah.
Mr. Schopp took it off me in a game of dice.
It's so funny to think like a game of dice.
What's their phone number?
It was just a roll of the dice, one roll. It wasn't a game. I guess it has to be called gambling. That hurts, that stings, but I guess it does. Just like, let's just roll and see. Boom, done.
Listen, if you don't want to call the game, then you shouldn't have changed into a tuxedo.
Right. Yeah. We had the felt out. The croupier. I shouldn't have hired a croupier. Welcome to the show, the word croupier.
I don't even know what that is, but okay.
I think I want it to be like a dealer at a casino in France.
Or Italy.
Anywhere.
Yeah, I
think you can be a croupier anywhere these days. Timeout for sports, 803-0550 for your calls. What do you think of Ross's thoughts on the Bills offseason? Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, WGR.
in the Olympics, it got started early with mixed double curling as the U.S. takes home the silver medal. And with that, Corey Teesey is the first American woman to win a medal in Olympic curling. A little while ago, around 4 or 5-ish, the U.S. women's hockey team finished the preliminary round perfect following today's 5-0 win over Team Canada. And with that, this is the first time Canada has been shut out in the Olympics. And then U.S. figure skater Ilya Malinin, nicknamed Quad God, finishes his short program at number 1 out of 29 skaters, the top 20 to advance to the free skate on a Friday. That is where the medals will be handed out. Speaking of the medals, your current count sees Norway in the lead with 12, Italy in second with 11, and Japan in third with 8. The United States just behind them with 7. And then Norway, they also lead the way in gold medals with 6. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
You feel bad for the Patriots because it wasn't their best showing, but we got to be proud of our season, right? I think that's going to be the main message from Mike Vrabel to these guys is like, you played so well. That being said, the Bills are going after them next year. The Bills are going to retake the division. I have a strong feeling about that.
Here they come, baby.
Ryan Fitzpatrick, do you have to feel bad for New England? No, I don't know. I don't feel bad for New England.
No.
I don't even care really that it's New England. It's more just a team that was really lucky to go that far. And, it showed in the end, which is good. It should. You shouldn't be able to win a championship.
And not be good.
And not be a good team.
Right.
Or a great team. So, I don't feel bad for them because of that.
No.
Not just because the Patriots...
No, I would feel really, really bad for me, if they had won. That would have been really, really aggravating. I wasn't that worried about it, but still, it's a football game. You never know, right?
The final indignity is New England rising to 4th in the reverse AFC power rankings today after winning the AFC championship.
Right.
Bills won. I don't know.
We're merciless in here. That's how it is.
We're going to get in and out of this one conversation all spring and summer. Are we here for another year of the Bills being talked up as a favorite? It's not that they shouldn't be, but I think that that became annoying a little bit, especially to fans that would call in and want to see a coaching change over the years or are mad about who their receivers are. You want in sports, well, it's a different point. I was going to say, it's almost more like the New England point. I think maybe, yes or no, like there could be a threshold that we've reached where, you know what, don't tell me again what the Super Bowl odds are. I really just...
Right.
I don't want to set myself up for that.
Yeah, I think you could. Although I don't know, the coaching change might be still the same amount of people on either side of that. It's just maybe some of the people will change, because I think people that wanted a different coach might now feel like, if they believe they ended up being right, the Bills are never, it's Nick Costos, 5 years, coach quarterback, you don't win within 5, you're never gonna. McDermott got almost double that, didn't pull it off. So if you think that was their biggest impediment, then you might be more open to it. But you also then now might have people who were enjoying that kind of status now looking at it going, you got a new coach and a whole new defense, and does the personnel fit? And, there's just more uncertainty. You don't know that everything is going to be as buttoned up as it's been without McDermott here. I think it's easy to take for granted what he meant and represented and what he did to foster that. And I'm not saying that just goes away. I mean, you're going to have like 60% of the guys on the team will be the same. So you'll have turnover. I mean, that happens every year. It depends on, how significant it is in given spots. Like Ross was talking last segment about McGovern and Edwards. Like if you lose both of them, that might be a lot to expect to be able to plug and keep that as a strength of the team. I mean, someone will play left guard and center, but, is it going to be something that is maybe the strongest position group on the team outside of your quarterback? That's a question. And with a new coach and then a different system on the other side of the ball, like how is all that going to come together? Like I remember in talking to our friend, the late John Clayton, about coaching changes and why the Bills, sadly, the entirety of our relationship with him was the Bills in the drought, I think, right? He was gone by the time they got good, I think.
I don't know.
It's close. If not, whatever. You get bogged down. He would make the point about that turnover, that's new systems, that's means new people, and how's that all going to come together in 1 year? That might be a lot. So there might be some people that are going to be skeptical about them just because it's different. And not so much that they loved McDermott or loved how they played defense, but do I have the guys? We can love what Jim Leonhard philosophically wants to be about. Do you have guys that fit that and can play it at a very high level? I mean, that's very much TBD to me.
I think I'm going to probably use the coaching staff changes as a push this offseason. I mean, Brady is still going to be their play caller, so that's not a change at all.
Right.
He's going to have a different title. They're going to play in a different stadium, for what it's worth. I don't know. Like, defensive coordinator is different. They'll be good and bad about that, probably. They've been very good for the most part for several years on defense. I doubt they fall apart. Maybe they'll be elite, but I doubt it'll be like a big thought for me trying to predict their season. As we know, whatever deficiencies we think they have on offense, they still rock and roll pretty good. Like
they overcome them because their quarterback is such a freak show. Yeah,
and someday that'll be different. I'm not going to expect it to be different next season. Really, so. I think, with respect to McDermott, I doubt that I'm going to look at this team that differently with him gone. You know what I'm saying? Like this.
Yeah.
There's lots of changes to assistants and everything like that, and there'll be roster changes like you said. But I think it's still the Bills for me, which, maybe next year will be the year where they can win that one game that they haven't won. But it's probably a good team.
Yeah. I will be. I mean, I'm not going to know anything about it. No, none of us will until they actually start playing. And even then, well, we'll wait till January.
Right.
But I think there is a lot to put together on that side of the ball. Like the change. I like how it sounds, and I hope it ends up being a net positive eventually. I just think for this year, it could be a lot to expect it to be better than it's been, just because I have a new philosophy and it's aggressive. Because I don't where are the players to fit into the spots? Like, I don't want to be one of these people that's overreacting to that. I think right away when Leonhard got hired, there was a lot of, and we talked a little bit about this with Sal, like the 3-4 versus 4-3 and positionless football. And, do I have guys that can play the way Leonhard had guys playing in Denver? Like that remains to be seen. But I'm not assuming that I'm all set, and that has me bracing for another year where, like we were just talking again with Ross, where are they at pass rush? Like they're nowhere. They got Rousseau, and he's under contract, and he's a good player. Like I don't need him off my team, but he is not someone that is going to regularly make game-impacting plays for you. He's steady and good, and occasionally there's a splash here or there. There were a couple of big ones late in games this year that were very helpful, but he's not a down-in, down-out, oh, my God, where is this guy coming from, guy. That was what you were hoping Bosa could give you in some supply, especially later on. And it turns out that we had it backwards because he was the best he was September. And it just sort of went downhill as the year went on. And he's a free agent. Epenesa's a free agent.
Should have held him back until the playoffs.
I don't know. What am I going to do? Am I going to draft 3 more defenders for the defensive line? Because I still don't have a guy. So, I know we'll be, and I'll be among them, very hung up on what I'm doing at receiver and how I'm going to replenish that position because it's sorely needed. But defensive end, they've got one of their main guys under contract.
With the 26th pick in the first round of the 2026 NFL Draft, according to Steve Palazzolo and Sam Monson, in this case, actually, it's Steve who took the even number teams. The Bills select defensive tackle Caden McDonald from Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, just side note, that's how they should be read. The position first.
Okay.
Goodell doesn't do that.
Yeah.
He does the name first, which sort of he steals his own thunder. Position first, then you have a second to think about which one, if you really follow it, which, of course, a lot of people do. So there's your first mock draft name for the year, maybe. One of the first.
I've seen that today. Maybe it's just their draft I saw, but I know I saw that a couple different places today. Again, might just people retweeting their tweets, but that name, that Ohio State defensive lineman. 6'3", 326.
Does that seem like a good
What else do you want to know?
combo?
Because that's all I got.
He's from Georgia, but he went to Ohio State.
Okay.
Unanimous All-American. Unanimous.
Great.
Everybody agreed.
But that's hard to do in this day and age. Get everyone to agree on anything.
Yeah. So maybe, will we like that? A defensive tackle?
Sure. Yeah. Sounds great. Put him on the pile.
Yes.
Right,
there's an argument.
But where am I, defensive tackle-wise? T.J. Sanders is more Ed Oliver. Ed Oliver is not, if I'm playing 3 down linemen, Ed Oliver's not playing nose tackle. So is he playing a 3-4 defensive end? T.J. Sanders, we saw play some defensive end this year out of necessity. He's a similar enough body. I just wonder, is he a defensive end now? Or are they even pieces that are useful to them anymore because of the scheme change?
Ooh.
Let's
hope that's not the bottom line here.
Right. There's going to be a whole nother round of, now I'm doing the thing I said I didn't want to do, which is exaggerating the usefulness of the guys, or underestimating, right, the usefulness of the guys that are here for this new system. Leonard he had his pick of jobs. He seemed eager to get in here. So there must be some clay that he can work with here. But I don't know. Those are at least questions I don't know the answer to for sure. I don't want to be overly worried about it, but it's the kind of thing that can happen. Harkening back to what I said about Clayton. It's new people, and they need a certain kind of guy, and you weren't drafting those guys for this system when you made those picks.
Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here at 803-0550. Quick timeout, then we'll talk some more. This is WGR. Were you watching? What was all over that biathlon guy's face when he won? Was that from his nose?
Yeah.
That's a lot, though.
Yeah.
He tried to sort of blow his nose on the
in
the race, and it didn't go well.
Yeah.
And he didn't stop.
It's pretty. Yeah.
You just wear it?
When I've bragged, I guess it's bragging. When I was really into running, and I loved running in the cold. I've said it numerous times, and probably people are out there sick of me saying it.
I am.
That would happen. In fact, it was so cold on Saturday and Sunday. I was going to tweet this, and I never did. It's the kind of cold where if you're shoveling for 10 or 15 minutes outside, you don't even realize your nose is running until you see it. Because that happened to me while I was shoveling. Not to be really gross, but and obviously I'm not working as hard as someone cross-country skiing 20 kilometers and shooting guns.
Even without, you leave the guns out of it.
Right. But when it's that cold, that happens. You just don't. You just don't feel it.
I know it'd be like, I'm out.
It's really gross.
I gotta
leave.
It
is really
I gotta
gross.
go.
Yeah.
Why did you leave the race after 50 meters?
Boogers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got distracted.
Yeah.
And I felt like I needed a tissue.
I knew I was on TV, and I knew I looked disgusting, and I didn't want to look disgusting anymore, so I quit.
I needed a tissue, and then I realized at that point it was too late. Yeah. So I just decided to go to the lodge.
Yeah.
Well, that was Norway. Again, it's always Norway. Most medals, most golds ever. It's always Norway.
Yeah.
In the Winter Olympics.
And they've got the guy I showed you earlier today, the footage of, I believe, is also Norwegian. He wasn't competing in the biathlon, excuse me. He's just a skier.
Cross country.
But cross country skier, and he's got this new style. He's sort of galloping in his skis on the uphill portions in a way that no one's ever seen someone do it competitively anyway, and he's just on the climbs, he's blowing everybody away. I don't know if he's winning. I don't know if the rest of his all-around skiing is good enough that he's using whatever advantage he's gaining on the uphills, but it looks like a bit like he's skiing away from people going up the hills because he's using this technique that
he's running.
He's running. It's galloping. It's pretty incredible.
Why did it take this long to think of it?
That's a good question.
Why shouldn't we know, less friction?
I don't know.
Maybe it's just that hard, running uphill?
Maybe.
With enough speed to
and with the skis
separate?
On.
With skis on?
But it's really quite something. If you see a guy, either highlights or just you're surfing around watching the Olympic footage out there, and you're going to know exactly. There's no way you're not going to know. That's the guy they were talking about because it looks like nothing you've ever seen on skis.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this. I'm not ever aware of who won already. I mean, some of the events are live during the day, like the curling and the hockey. This isn't.
Last night I settled in and felt like I was seeing stuff that I'd already watched.
Oh, okay. I haven't had that problem
But that's fine. I mean, my wife hasn't, and she said to me today, we got up at the same time today. It's very rare our schedules line up that way. But we got up at the same time, 7:30 this morning. She's like, "Are there Olympics on already?" I'm like, "Oh,
totally.
Dude, yeah, they've been on, yes." She's like, "Great. All I need." This traces back to when she was pregnant with Owen, our first child. It was a Winter Olympics year, and Ron McClain. We had CBC then, and she just watched Ron McClain all day for the entire Winter Olympics. Well, Owen might have been born, so he was a baby, whatever. She was off work, and she was home with the kid and a baby, and just Ron McClain kept her company. She was like, all I need is Ron McClain. I miss Ron McClain. She loves the Winter Olympics.
In my life. I hope we get to talk to him one more time at some point. It'd be great. If you want something tonight that you have not seen before, ADP Chasing is back. Season premiere 7:30 on YouTube. Thank you. I'll wave to you.
Do I need a subscription for that, or can I just?
You do not.
Just get into YouTube and
free
find
to watch.
It? Okay, good.
ADP Chasing, free to watch. You can find it on my Twitter too. Links to it. We will take a break, have the update, and then talk some more. 803-0550. Are you thinking about the NFL draft yet? If you are you someone where someone else could say to you, you should go outside for once? Because that's what I get when I mention that our draft show for 2026 is starting tonight, February 10th. Why not just go outside, you loser? Too cold.
Not today.
Yep. All right. Back after sports. This is Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.
At the Olympics, it got underway early as mixed double curling saw the United States take home the silver medal. And with that, Corey Teesey is the first American woman to win a medal in Olympic curling. Following that, the U.S. women's hockey team finished off their preliminary round perfect following today's 5-0 win over Team Canada. And this is also the first time Canada has been shut out in the Olympics. And then a little bit later on after that, U.S. figure skater Ilya Malinin, nicknamed Quad God, finished off his short program ranked number 1 out of 29 skaters. The top 20 to advance to the free skate on Friday. That is where the medals will be handed out, and he is not the only American. The other two, Andrei Torgashev and Maxim Naumov, also qualified for the free skate. And your current medal count sees Norway in the lead with 12, Italy in second with 11, and then Japan, they are in third with 8. The United States is just behind them with 7 medals. That is good for fourth. Norway also leads the way with gold medals at 6. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
Raisin Bran. You got to put Raisin Bran up there. Everybody knows it.
It's Mike Schopp.
Listen, get your own stupid old dying person team and choose your own cereals.
And the Bulldog.
I shall unleash my fury upon you like the crashing of 1,000 waves.
That cereal is soggy. You reach into the fridge for the milk and open the lid on the milk to pour it in there, and that crap is already soggy.
I am untethered and my rage knows no bounds.
That's a problem. That's a problem for a cereal. I
Huge
think.
problem.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog on WGR Sports Radio 550.
I gotta say something here, but I have to preface it with: we love our listeners. Look out! Look out!
Oh boy!
We love our listeners.
This is Mike talking.
We love our. You don't. We love our listeners.
No, I mean I'm for whatever you're about to say. That is, you're bracing.
They tell you when you get started to prepare yourself for criticism because not everybody is going to like you, and that takes time to get good at.
Yeah.
If you ever really get that good at it, like sort of not taking it too personally. There's going to be jealousy. They're going to be right sometimes when you're being criticized.
Yep.
Whatever. It's just people, different tastes. It's just the thing they tell you is it's all good. More people means more critics, more stuff. You want that. They say you want that. Mm-hmm. This isn't going to end in a very interesting way. Let me just stop right now and say that. I'm sort of. I want to get to a certain point.
Go on then.
I want to get to a certain point, and I'm being way too dramatic.
Okay.
For where this is going to end up.
I just want to interject one thing that I don't know that this will buffer the lack of how interesting your final destination is or not. Maybe it's just as uninteresting, but.
We'll find out.
For me, I would say that point you just made, what helped me learn that more than anything else is how strongly I feel about people that are doing jobs like way above our level here, like the national, the football people, the announcers. Like there are people that I know are excellent at their jobs that are being paid millions, $10 million a game, $10 million a year, whatever. Like big, not 10 a game, but $1 million a game. Or more, that I can't stand. But I know lots of people do like them. They have those jobs. Surely everyone doesn't despise them. But like I
you never know.
I figured out why wouldn't someone, on a smaller scale, there should be the same on us, on me. Like there's gonna be people that really like how we do it and people who just think, oh my God, get those guys out of there.
Well, right. And likewise, it makes me feel like I really don't want to tweet about announcers that much anymore because they are in the chair. They have the job, and that's they win. Anyway, this is all, again, big disappointment coming here. I have a friend in New Jersey that loves the Seahawks. I've known him for 20 years. Mm-hmm. I see him at least once a year. That weekend's coming up. I go to Philadelphia every March for the baseball drafts, and that's where I know this guy from. And he loves the Seahawks. He wears a Seahawks jersey to the draft, or a Mariners jersey to the draft. Probably more likely Mariners. I just know that. He might have been to every stadium. He's been up here to see the Seahawks when they played in Toronto. You get the point. So I got a guy that loves the Seahawks.
Yep.
And I have always liked the Seahawks, but I guess yesterday, when talking about the Seahawks winning the Super Bowl, I did not sound to this particular Seahawks fan complimentary enough.
You weren't impressed enough.
I wasn't, in his opinion, impressed enough by the Seahawks. And I just told you a few minutes ago off the air, like, can I just ever not have to listen to that? Like, all right, you love the Seahawks. There's a pretty good chance you just sort of roam the dial, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to find people that, and maybe you even know them sometimes, who are not giving your team enough credit. And it's just so lame to me in the way that certain analysts, kind of sarcastically on their Twitter bio, maybe it says, "I hate your team."
Right.
Because whoever it is they're talking about, they're just not a big enough fan for some of the biggest fans.
Right.
Which, of course, it's the most ridiculous thing ever to think that, who do you want?
Mina Kimes.
Mina Kimes hates your team. She clearly does not. Any reasonable person would never think that she hates your team. Right? So my friend did not accuse me of hating his team.
Just not loving them enough.
Yeah, it was actually why I said it wasn't that serious there in the middle was because it was more benign. Shame on you.
Shame on you?
Shame on you.
Shame on you.
For selling my team short. LOL.
Oh.
That's because we're friends.
Yeah.
So he probably does think.
Shame on you.
Shame on you. But we're friends, so you got to put that LOL
Diffusing it with the LOL.
He says, you didn't give the Pats D any credit. I didn't? Okay. Did I need to do more of that yesterday? Did you, in your opinion, when you left the studio yesterday, were you thinking Mike did not give the Patriots defense enough credit?
I would say, whatever, this guy's not my friend, so maybe he's not, what I'm saying isn't as important to him. He certainly has no way to text me, I assume.
I'll give him, let me do that now.
But I said a few times, I wouldn't assume that the Bills' defense could do what New England's defense did to Seattle in that game.
I wouldn't assume it either. In fact, I wouldn't even predict it.
Yeah.
But I think I did say this.
So that was a compliment to Seattle, obviously, is what I'm saying. But go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. It might not be as pronounced a one as he would have liked.
Yeah.
But I did say yesterday, though, and I still would say this, that I think a lot of Darnold's misses were on him more than they were,
yes,
credit to Christian Gonzalez or something. I mean, there were a couple plays, but Seattle's offense was not impressive, I thought. My friend adds their running game would have run all over the Bills. And maybe, but that didn't always happen to the Bills. It wasn't every game that they got run on bad.
And even when it did, I don't think it was the thing that necessarily beat them.
Yeah, well, that's a second point.
Right.
So what if they did?
Right.
If you give Seattle 200 rushing yards, does that mean that I have to lose?
How much did they have? I mean, Walker himself had 135 or something, right? Did they not get close to 200 even? Maybe nobody, Darnold doesn't run, so no, they probably didn't. Whatever. Yeah, I don't know. What's another 50 rushing yards? I don't know. Maybe it's impactful. If there's touchdowns on them, then, really, sure. But I don't know.
Denver ran for 70.
Right.
Against the Bills.
But they were going to run. R.J. Harvey, that the style of run that they're best at is what the Bills are worst at. Didn't even matter.
Jacksonville did better than that.
Yeah, they had a good day on the ground.
155-ish. So, 154. Maybe. I guess, I'm mostly, I say all this with a smile on my face. We're still going to be friends. And I think he could have been right listening to me and his points. Fair enough. But if when your team wins, this is what you do. You just go, listen, if the Bills had beaten the Patriots in the playoffs, people here would listen to the Patriots shows before ours.
No, that's right. And that's right. And I think we'd be spending a lot of time this week trying to tell people how to touch grass. You just won the Super Bowl. Like I want to be careful here too, because I know that this is a lot. Our audience is like this. They seek out that content, and I'm grateful that you even think to seek out our content. And like you keep the whole machine humming here for me. But yeah, if the Bills finally were to have won the Super Bowl, or whatever, it could happen next year. They win, and by like Tuesday or Wednesday, we've got a person every day that just wants to say, I was listening to Colin Cowherd, or I was listening to the local show in Houston, or I was listening to the local show in the town that we beat, or whatever, and like they're not giving the Bills any credit. I'm like, dude, take another drink and like eat a gummy and relax. Like you just won the Super Bowl.
As long as it's Odyssey, it's okay.
Just don't worry about it. Do not worry about it.
I've said forever that is going to happen, whether it's Houston radio or ESPN.
Right.
But this same fan, I don't know what he thinks about ESPN's coverage. I don't know what anybody thinks about ESPN's coverage of that game or that team. I mean, I haven't consumed any of it, and I don't think I've seen any reference to it. But I promise you, if the Bills ever win, by the next morning, it's going to be about what Dallas has to do in free agency.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like, you're not going to be happy with the level of attention you get, I think.
Right.
I think if you're a team that you build a dynasty, or if you're one of 5 or 6 teams in the league that transcend maybe, then you would get that. Which you'll also
you have a perfect season or something. Like then it's different. But if you go 13-4 and beat Dallas is perfect for this, but really any big market team, Philadelphia, some team that's been a contender all along, right along with the Bills. The Bills beat that team, and it's a team in a huge market. A lot of it's going to be about what did they screw up, not like look at how good the Bills were.
You do get, and this will happen if the Bills win next year with Allen, and this is happening, I think, with Darnold. I'm going by Twitter and just what I've noticed, not, again, watching national sports talk, but you're getting what this does for Darnold, right? Mm-hmm. What the MVP does for Matthew Stafford. There were tweets today about whether he's now a top 10 all-time player, which is, to me, laughable. But you win the MVP, then you're on a new list.
Right.
You're in a new club. And Darnold is in a new club. And that, that's a conversation. Whatever it is supposed to mean or tell you about him. It doesn't have to be a lot, necessarily. I would just say about him, like, I'm on board with the success story that he is. I mean, that's great. That's really undeniable. I mean, the 2 years together since he got to Minnesota and then Seattle, he's been tremendous. Might have been better last year than this year for the Vikings.
But he just didn't stumble down the stretch this year.
That, right? Didn't have to be as good. Maybe he was as good.
NFC title game, he was fantastic. I mean, that maybe was the game of his life. And, that
hats off.
Does away with a lot of whatever the nitpicking has been on a guy, for sure. So
I guess that's it. Like, people are probably not talking about him as elite, right? Is it Flacco time now?
Right.
Maybe, are we doing that? What is Darnold? Like, he's good. He might be very good.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he did not, by winning the Super Bowl, and I don't want to say in the fashion he did, whatever. He's the quarterback, and he was great in the NFC title game, and they're not there without that, because that was a whisker game, and they got enough plays from him, and so. But he has not ascended to some, level that is occupied by the guys who've won the actual MVP in the league. Like, there's still 8 or 10 guys I think I would take ahead of him.
What you have now, and this is one of the best things I think about winning, is no one can say you can't do it.
Right.
I mean, he could have been he was somebody. Sam Panayotovich. since we're throwing names around.
Big time.
Like, I'm not back in Seattle. It's Darnold.
How many times? How many times did Ghost get said last week, even on our show? When you talk about him, that was something that you would reference because he famously said that on Monday Night Football when he couldn't figure out whatever defense he was playing against. Was it New England? I don't remember who
it was.
But like I'm seeing ghosts. Like, whoa! I remember talking about it the next morning. Like, that's a thing you do not say around cameras. Like, just wow, that is going to stick to you. And here we are. It's 8 years later. It stuck to him. Now maybe that's gone for now.
It was totally reasonable to doubt him.
Yeah,
and we did it to varying degrees all the way to the end. Right?
I said yesterday,
even in the game itself.
I said yesterday, I'm still probably going to doubt him next year.
Yeah, well,
I don't love that, but that's my default setting on him. Is like, I don't know, and that's a little ridiculous after the year he just had, 2 years he just had, really.
But once you win, that's all gone.
Right.
Nobody can say with any sort of seriousness that you can't win it because you've done it. That is dead forever. That's really one of the best things about winning.
Yeah, and the way that I am, again, not that I want people to not be interested in what we're doing in here for the 4 hours a day that we're doing it. I just, my team wins. You can debate how good my guy is. Just keep buying me a drink every round. I'm fine over here. You can just yell at. I don't care. And I'm just going to be pretty happy for a while myself.
That's I think a good trait in life. If you don't need that affirmation to feel good.
Yeah.
Because I'm not really like that. I think I kind of need it.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to feel good on my own. I need somebody to, comment on whatever it is we're talking about. I kind of need something most of the time. I don't know. I'm not really thinking about certain examples, but to that, I get it, and so do you. You're saying you get it too.
Yeah.
The impulse to go out there and listen for everybody else complimenting your team, and if they don't do it, it's gonna bother you.
You're making a list of slights.
That's just sort of like you're almost looking for to be bothered,
right? Which
that doesn't feel right
to some extent. Sort of like, isn't that why you wanted to win, so that nothing can bother you, right? Like if a part of it is like I'm the best. Now, and undeniably you are. I don't know. It's not that confusing. I mean, I understand it. I just would never put myself through it. Again, I guess I'm grateful people do, because I think it's what draws audiences to shows like this one. So that's why I said I want to be very careful. But I don't. I will never go looking for things to get mad about. There's enough. Living here, not just about sports. There's just enough stuff to get frustrated about day to day that we never talk about, that I don't need to go find what somebody in some town I'm never even going to visit thinks about my quarterback. I mean, I couldn't care less. I have other stuff to wind me up. I don't need that. Like I'm over here on Easy Street. We won. That's great. When's the parade?
Well, it'll be an interesting year for what is said about the Bills, whether you want to seek it out or listen to it or not. Are they going to get less of a chance from that world because another year went by, especially because of the game Allen had against Denver? He did have that injury, which protects him a little bit, but it's a different year. It's not like he had a perfect game and they lost anyway. And okay, well, McDermott, it really wasn't that exactly. So we'll see if they get the same kind of respect or scrutiny as in other years. One thing about this year that's different, though, which will make it more interesting, is there are just going to be more candidates to win it. More teams are plausible.
Yeah.
I mean, New England wasn't one last year, but they did get there. So I guess they should have been.
They will be now. Jacksonville, I think, will be a team to be taken seriously. Houston, I think, a little rockier because of the way Stroud finished up. The Chargers, another year with Harbaugh, new offensive staff, McDaniel out there. Yeah, the Broncos were the 1 seed. Like, it's going to be more crowded. I think the Bills will still get the same level of respect, and the odds, I think, will reflect that because Mahomes is coming off an injury and an awful down year for the team overall, and same with Jackson, and they've got a new coach too. Jackson wasn't hurt. Well, he was hurt, but not ACL season over hurt. But new coach there. So anything that dings the Bills with the new coach and new systems and whatever, that's true of the other teams that have been the top of the conference. So I think it'll all come out kind of the same.
Maybe. Yeah, the Ravens and Bills both breaking up with their coaches after all those years, and how they've been like just kind of joined these Allen and Jackson years, and now this happens at the same time to both teams. I mean, Harbaugh was in Baltimore a lot longer than McDermott was here.
Twice as long, right? I think 18 years. Yeah.
But, that similarity, and they both make the change in the same offseason, just adds to how they're compared with each other so easily, the Bills and Ravens. Well, the season is over, so on to the draft. The schedule, right? I mean, don't have to wind me up on that. We didn't get to the schedule today, or not yet, but it's there. New stadium, of course, too. There'll be a lot to go through. On the draft subject, today we started a new partnership with Jeff Bell and footballguys.com. Jeff is one of the guys there that puts the work in on their rookie draft guide, which you can find at footballguys.com or at Jeff Bell's Twitter and read for free. They update that all through the spring with the combine numbers and everything like that. So we're going to have Jeff on a few times between now and the draft. And that started today, so we'll have that conversation for you next. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, WGR.